Hope this works.
Are you ready?
We are here. It did mess up. Shit. Okay.
It did? Oh, ever
Yeah.
so slightly.
Yeah,
Order's good, though.
we'll have to do a little bit of finagling. While we're doing that, hello everybody, and welcome to Once Upon a Tabletop, where we tell fantastic tales using tabletop RPGs. I am your host and game master, Shane Rachels, joined here by my lovely Season 1 cast. Say hello, everybody.
Hello!
I
Hola.
just hello.
Did you say you just pooped?
Muted.
Oh.
We are preparing to jump into episode 2 after some, little bit of technical issues here. That's mostly right. We're going to call it. So, like I said, we are we're prepared to jump into episode 2. But before that, we have a couple of things. The first thing first, we won't be interacting with chat while we are doing the actual episode. But if you stick around for the end of the episode, stick around for bonus action, we'll hang out. We'll thank our followers. We'll talk about the episode, answer some questions, do all that kind of stuff afterwards. So be on the lookout for that. And the second thing is this is episode 2, which means by default that there was an episode 1, which means we have to recap stuff. And anybody want to volunteer for a recap of our last episode?
I think Ever should have, or I think Sammy should have to read her notes again to just give everybody the details of what happened. I think that they had the best notes.
The best notes. Yeah, sure.
Let me just... Don't save. Just give me my session notes. Alright. In the beginning, we're in Astra.
I forgot about that.
Well, I fucked up the spelling and I just went with it. Gates stand closed and barred. It's been like 209 years since Veilbreak. Crazy amount of time, right? Yeah, we're a group. We're fucking off. We passed our trials. And you met all of us. We're cool, fun people. Fucking... We go out and it's like, what is the teachings with Arthur and Torch? And then a rift. Sorry, a veil. It's not a rift. Veil. Is it a rift?
It's a rift.
Yeah, it is a rift. I was right.
They are called rifts.
Opens up, and we get some fucking wolfy boys and not wolfy boy. And fucking this bitch, where is she? Somewhere on one of the thingies. Raylith whoops ass. Doesn't give me a chance.
Facts.
And then we go through,
Sorry.
and then we find Arthur, and then Arthur is like, okay, this is what we do, guys. And then Min shows up and disintegrates Arthur.
Yeah, that happened. You skipped a bit in the middle there, but...
Oh, sorry. Arthur's Torch's dad. There wasn't too many things in the middle. Anyways, there was a cabin. We didn't look in the cabin.
No, you didn't.
So... And, we put down the rift thingy before this to close it. That still happened. And then Min's like, hey guys, I have a proposition for you. And I said, okay. And everyone else said, maybe. And then Raylith was like, ugh. And that we tried to see if we could, bring Arthur back, and she was like, I could, but he could be a vegetable, and that's not a way to live. So now we have to break the news to Torch that her father is bird meat food.
Bird meat is definitely, I think, that was the most comprehensive recap, I think.
Is this what, ADD is like? Is that what it's like for people?
Mowgli, can you give us a better?
Sure. We
won't take much.
Finished.
The bar
we
is
just
low.
graduated from the Guardian Corps Academy, I guess, and became full-fledged Guardians. Oh no, I forget your everyone's name. Mimi Doe talked about this is her last chance, or she's going to get kicked out. Zin's bald. Aggie is a sex machine. Raylith is a blue fairy. we talked to Torch, who was our support officer, and we talked to her father, who was a douche. And then her father's like, "Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about some shit." Went to a courtyard, saw a mother playing with the children. We had a long philosophical question about what we do in the Guardian Corps.
My
A rift
son-
opens. Arthur rolls right through. Mimido rolls two twos on a advantage roll, which blows my mind. DM rolls 2 20s on an advantage roll, or a disadvantage roll, which blows my mind. Zin didn't do anything. Mimido didn't do anything. Aggie kind of did something. Rayla killed everything.
Aggie hid.
Jumped into the portal. Saw the cabin. Time was weird. Talked to Minosha, who is the origin of fear. She bitch slapped Arthur into a wall of force that just splattered him to goo. We talked to her about trying to get the World Stone and what that could mean. I was on board because she was hot. Zin was on board because who knows. Mimido was on board because she wants to kill things. And Raylith was apprehensive because she hates fun. And then we went through a portal, fell unconscious. Here we are.
Mine was pretty succinct. I just forgot the World Stone.
Okay, so
And the two 20s on the advantage roll, which
okay,
Wow.
so for future reference, I will be asking you guys to do the recaps from now on. So in that case, you should probably be prepared for that.
We
Was
didn't give him
prepared.
much this time.
oh, we also saw visions of horrible things because
you
the
did,
hot woman let us see things.
well, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game. At the end of our last episode, as you all kind of came back through the rift that Min formed for you, you all fell unconscious. And you all awaken in what looks like an infirmary of some kind. The room's about 40 foot long by 20 feet wide, with beds about every 5 foot or so, kind of lining both of the long walls with little tables and stuff in between that has bowls of clean water and clean rags and sponges and stuff like that, some surgical tools, all the things you would kind of expect to see in an infirmary. You guys have all been kind of bunched up in beds on one end of the room. The center of the room itself is kind of empty, and there's a couple people on the other end of the room that you see lying down on some of these beds with bandages and stuff like that. One of them has kind of wrapped around his head, another one has his leg in a sling, that kind of thing. And as you're all kind of coming to, and you're kind of coming out of that grogginess of unconsciousness, kind of like waking up from a very deep sleep, and you take a look around, you realize that there are 4 people on this side of the room besides yourselves. 2 of these people you recognize. One of these people is Torch, who is in a bed across the room from you guys. You see that she has kidnapped pillows from a couple of different beds. And she is currently curled up in the center of one of these beds, almost in like the fetal position, with a blanket wrapped around her and several pillows propping her up. The second person that you guys would recognize is Amaya Silverstrand, the High Elf High Council member that has basically been around since Veilbreak, since the original incident that incited this entire kind of apocalypse scenario that you guys are in. And I already see Mowgli is already having some things to say. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Turn this music down just a tad here. There is also 2 other people. One of them is a nurse that I don't think any of you exactly know, but she's just in kind of like a gown with an apron and a little bonnet and stuff on, and she's kind of moving back and forth between some of these tables, wetting some rags, and she begins to kind of brush like cold water and stuff over your foreheads as you wake up, kind of bringing you back to consciousness a little bit faster. And the other person that you may not recognize is, her name is Amelia, and she is Amaya's assistant. You may recognize her, you may not, but she's a human maybe in her 30s or so. She just kind of runs around with Amaya and helps her on various little things and stuff like that. Like I said, you may know her, you may not. She has kind of like bright red hair. And it's always up in like a perfect little bun on the back of her head. And she's just dressed in like regular clothes, nothing super fancy or anything like that. But as you guys are kind of coming to consciousness and you're seeing this room and you're kind of starting to put these details together in kind of disparate order and stuff, what is you guys' first actions? What are you doing when you wake up after being unconscious for an indeterminate amount of time?
Stretch. Big stretch. And then just kind of, what the fuck happened? And I'm just kind of looking around, seeing who all is awake.
Aggie's still asleep.
He's
He's just pretending to be asleep.
Okay.
I think Raylith would be getting up and kind of just trying to look around the room, take in where exactly we are since we came out of a portal in the courtyard area or the park and not here.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of just trying to get her wits about her, figure out what
Get your bearings.
happens. Yeah,
Zen would look around, assess the situation, and then start meditating to get himself centered because he's groggy.
Fair. That is a very, very monk thing to do. I like it. Okay.
Can we get a long rest?
No, you do not.
Damn it.
So, as you're all coming to, Mimi and Raylith are kind of looking around trying to get their bearings. Zen is meditating, and Aggie is still pretending to be asleep. Amaya, who is sitting on a chair at the foot of one of your beds, kind of arms crossed in her lap and stuff, she kind of stands up, walks back and forth, kind of glancing at all of you, checking you out. She kind of calls the nurse over, and she says, "All right, I am very glad that they are awake. Have them checked out, full examination, and then be sure that we make sure that nothing is wrong and that nothing came back with them either." And then she kind of turns towards Amelia and says, "Will you see about getting us refreshments? Food, something fresh, please, and drink. Probably, if we have any of the wine left, something of that. Something more than water. They've earned that at least." She kind of turns back towards the group. Welcome back, I suppose. How are you all feeling?
Well, minus a few bumps in the road, I would say feeling about right as rain.
That's great to hear. The rest of you?
I don't hear anything. I'm in my zone.
Okay.
Okay for the situation. Did the rift close?
It did, yes. After a few moments after you got back, it did close.
Aggie starts snoring very loudly, like
Seems,
obnoxiously loud.
Seems your friends may have been affected slightly more than the rest of you. And you see he kind of waits toward the nurse. Can you give him a shot of the what would they call it? I'm thinking something kind of like an adrenaline shot.
Oh God.
What would they call it? I think she would just say something like, "Can you give him a shot of the medicine again? See to it that he wakes up. We want to be sure nothing's wrong, please." And you see the nurse pulls out like a syringe, squirts at the end of it a little bit.
Does she stab me in the ass?
If you don't do something, yes, she will.
All right, I don't know this is going on.
Okay. I mean, you would hear it, so. But yeah,
Not of my snoring.
she's going to stab you right in the butt cheek, right through your pants, with a little needle.
Aggie will leap out of bed, screaming, holding his ass, going, "It got me! It got me! The monster! It got me! What? Where the hell am I? What?
Oh, that worked surprisingly fast. Welcome back to consciousness, Mr. Agasford.
Something got me in the ass. What was that? Why is my heart racing? It's beating really fast.
It's medicine meant to bring you to
I'm gonna
consciousness.
pass out.
You're fine. You'll be fine. Have a seat.
Actually, I actually might pass out. I hyperventilate a little bit.
don't do that, please. Around that time, you would see Amelia comes back in with a tray with it looks like 4 salads on the plate. Some lettuce, radish, tomatoes, kind of a basic kind of thing. And it's worth noting here that for us, for like the players out in the real world, a kind of basic salad and stuff would be nothing more than a snack, and it would be just basic. But for you guys, seeing fresh, crisp lettuce and seeing these like fresh sliced tomatoes and the bits of radish and stuff like that on here, when they come in holding this food, it is extravagant. This is essentially the an equivalent to something like iced caviar being served to you guys as Amelia sets down these small salads on each of the tables, along with a small wooden cup of wine alongside each salad. What would you guys react to this?
Wow, thank you very much. I don't see exactly what the occasion is other than going out and doing what we were supposed to do, but I thank you real kindly.
That is certainly a pleasant way of looking at it, yes. It is a celebration of a job well done and survival when perhaps everything was arrayed against you. How about that?
It was something, all right.
Indeed. And we will talk about exactly what it was. There is information we need to gather, but first, enjoy your meal before it loses its luster, as it were. We will speak after, okay?
Very well.
Enjoy, everyone. And you see that she also has a small salad that she kind of places down on another bed, or on another table beside another bed, probably on the side where Raelith is. So I imagine like the last bed in the row there. And she begins to eat her salad as well. Torch is, despite all the noise and everything, still asleep, snoring very lightly on the bed across from you. The nurse kind of goes around, asks you a couple of those very nursey questions. Are you feeling lightheaded? Are you, does anything hurt? Are you aware of any like torn muscles or maybe bones fracture or anything? Like kind of going through the little checklist while you guys are eating. Anybody doing anything particularly special during this?
How long were we out?
About 24 hours or so. It is the evening after your adventure.
How long has she been out?
Torch, only a few. She stayed up all night and most of the day by your bedside. She unfortunately could not stand to be awake any longer. And, well, kind of gestures. She is taking her rest very seriously.
Well, I'm sure she has a few questions for us herself.
She does. We all do, in fact.
Well, I know we came back with one less.
is correct. But again, eat your food first. We'll speak of this after. There's no sense in having these conversations on an empty stomach. It doesn't do anybody any good. You lose focus or.
I've been chowing down.
Can I take a little nibble of the salad and roll a medicine check to see if it's poisoned?
You can, yeah, if you want to.
It's laced with truth serum.
10.
10. Doesn't seem to be poisoned. It's quite fresh.
We try to take a little sip of the wine and see if it's poisoned. 8.
8. It's a little sour. You've had wine before for special occasions, birthdays at people's, stuff like that, but not like it's not super fresh wine. They've probably been storing it for a little while, but doesn't taste poisoned.
I will quickly drink my wine and then turn to Zen and be like, "Hey Zen, you don't drink the wine because you're all holier than thou, right? You're on a higher path, right? I'll take it off your hands for you. Don't worry."
I'm sure you will. But no.
And I'll reach for your wine.
And I will smack your hand away. No.
No. I just survived the stabbing. Let me have some wine.
Fine. I will hand over the wine.
And,
I'll also
apologies,
drink
I
Zen's
was
wine.
unaware of
So,
your
as-
particular views there, Mr. Zin, was it? Would you like a glass of water instead?
yes.
We'll have it done, and you see that the nurse kind of runs over to the other side of the room. There is kind of a kind of faucet in the room, and she kind of turns on, runs a glass of cold, clear water, and brings it over to you. I say glass, everything's in these little wooden cups, but yeah. After, 10, 15 minutes or so, once you guys have kind of eaten everything and kind of had time to wake up, Amaya will bring the chair and kind of set it down in the middle of all 4 beds, and gesture for you guys to kind of, come to the end of the bed and have a seat so that you're all kind of grouped up. And she will, she'll take a second and she'll go, "All right, well, we have much to speak about. Torch has told us a lot of the lead up on what happened. Arthur was doing his hard drill sergeant routine and took you all on patrol when you were witness to a rift forming. You all defended a family, I'm told, and went into the rift, and then around 6 hours later returned. Now, there are some things we need to get straight here. The first is that Arthur, who is quite possibly the most capable man we have available in the Guardian Corps, did not come home with you. The second is that you did not come home through the rift. You appeared behind everyone else where no one was expecting. And that is a thing that has never happened before. The actions or inactions that you've taken inside of this rift will not be judged. Whatever it is that you have done or whatever it is that happened inside this rift, you did close it and you did survive. Priority 1 and Priority 2 have been completed successfully. But due to the nature of the situation, there are things that we would like to understand, things that we would like to know in order to spread this information to where it is needed at other members of the Guardian Corps, and so on and so forth. So, we would like one of you, or all of you, however it is you see fit, to run us through exactly what happened and how you managed to leave a rift without going through it, or and what happened to Arthur while you were in there. How did you manage to make it out and he did not?
Well, shit. Is Torch awake at this time, or is she still pretty asleep?
No, she's out. She was up for 48 hours, and a lot of it was spent pacing and anxious and so on. So she is gone.
Well, about that. So we got in there, and we knew that Arthur was a pretty capable guy, so we followed him, and trail of blood wake, all up in the yeah. Then we found him, and times a little differently in there. So when we did find him, he was like, "Oh, it's been like 2 days or something." Um,
We are aware of temporal anomalies inside the wrist. In fact, we strongly suspect that's your reason for falling unconscious upon your return. As it happens, a lot of people, when they first enter these rifts and then return to our world, they are somewhat thrown astray in the temporal flow of magic. It takes time for the body to catch up. It is something you can acclimate to, and normally we don't. So early on in your career, we wouldn't have sent you into one where such a thing would have happened without some sort of supervision. But given the situation,
well, when we met back up with Arthur in this massive clearing, and there, he showed us how to work the rift device and how it showed us where we needed to put it, and everything was fine. It was great. Set it for 3 hours, and then uh, this real scary lady showed up. Real scary.
She wasn't that scary.
She was real hot. Okay, she was really attractive, but she was really, really, really scary, strong. Um, and there was this terror that held us at first, and Arthur did something, and then he was like, "Okay, guys, you gotta go, you gotta run." And the scary lady, I think her name was Min. So he said something about fear. So I don't know if that tracks for you. He said it in some kind of language. I don't know if anyone else got it, but it was something about
Nope.
fear. And she's just like, "My name is Min." And Arthur was like, "Okay, we're gonna fight her." So we went to, and then she smacked him into a wall behind us that she made, and he turned
And
into
then the
mush.
sigil on the ground lit up, and we were flung from the portal out here, and that was the end of it.
Arthur died because of her.
that is unfortunate. Hmm. You said that he called her Min and mentioned something about fear. Was it a title, Minushatars? Was that the words he
Yeah,
used?
That doesn't
that's
sound
the word.
familiar at all. Doesn't
That
sound
was
familiar.
It is a phrase that has been repeated a few times by individuals who have met this being you refer to.
I know Elvish. Can I say that her name wasn't Minishotar? It was something else that sounded kind of similar. Do I know that? Could I come up with something off the top of my head like that?
Interesting.
Curious. Because I know why you're doing it, because you're Aggie, and Aggie in particular has a thing against Amaya, and kind of so on and so forth. And I do think it would be very much in character. Give me, let me look at skills
That's
here.
so
I
funny.
think you do speak Elvish, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if you do speak Elvish, give me a. You can choose. Would be performance or history check.
Performance.
It's a
I'm
I'm a
choice.
bard. I'm a
Ah.
dumb bard.
Well, fair.
Fuck.
And I'm gonna roll a counter check.
Do I get like advantage on this or something?
I think I'm gonna give her. I don't think so, because it's kind of spur of the moment. You're not doing any prep or anything. You did say you're coming up with the top of this off the top of your head. I don't think it would be advantage.
Ugh. Killing me, Smalls. Can I give myself bardic inspiration?
He really wants it to work.
He does, and I know why, but
I rolled real bad.
Real bad.
Real bad.
I'm sorry. I just don't think it, because again, you said you were doing this off the top of your head. It is a kind of a spur of the moment thing for you. You're in front of everybody else. I don't think there would be a way to do it without being super, super obvious. Which
Alright,
I
well, in
think
that
would
case,
kind
I
of
rolled a 12.
detract from the point. Okay. She also rolled a 12. But she does have a modifier. I'm going to
Shit.
give her a +2 to insight.
Shit. I rolled a 5, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Oh my
But with
God.
my modifier, it was 7 or 12.
I do think she'll give you a rather discerning look. And she will... Perhaps you misheard, but Minushataz is a name that has been mentioned by several of our members of the Guardian Corps. They have met this creature, this being, before. From time to time inside the rift, she appears to be mostly a... what would be the term she would use? Passing fancy. Something of not exactly antagonistic nature, but certainly frightening when she is around. You see she's kind of thinking to herself, and she says, "This news that she killed Arthur would make her an antagonistic force. We would need to send a warning to our members that if they are to see her, to avoid her at all costs. If she managed to kill Arthur so easily, I don't think there's anyone in the Corps, anyone trained into the rifts who would be capable of dealing with her. Maybe one of the higher mages could do something, but we need them here. We could not send them into the rifts." And you
To be
see...
fair, it was only because we did try to fight her initially,
Right.
and then, got a little bit of a smackdown.
Right. If you were the antagonistic force here, and perhaps they are safe as long as... Still, we would rather send an avoid at all costs type message. And you see Amelia, her assistant, this kind of red-haired human woman just behind her, just writing notes down on a little pad. And she says, "I'll get it done as soon as possible." She kind of turns around and kind of heads out the door. Amaya kind of sits there for a few moments and says, "Did he suffer?"
I would say not. It seemed pretty instant.
Right.
Okay, let's just go with the instant comment there.
You see she kind of glances over towards Torch, kind of laying on the bed across from you guys. Give me a perception or insight check. Your choice. This is for everybody.
Inside perception?
Insight or perception. Your choice.
15
15. And what was that for?
perception.
Perception.
15
21.
insight.
21. Was that perception or insight?
That was insight.
And it's 21 insight. Okay.
Dear God, camera, please.
22 insight.
22 insight. Okay. And you said 15 insight?
Yeah.
Okay. So for Raelith, you would see things a little bit differently, but you would kind of get the same thing. Everybody else rolled insight and you rolled perception. Raelith, you would see as she kind of glances towards Torch, she kind of balls up her fists and grips her like her gown that she's wearing a little bit too tightly as she kind of glances over. There's a small, like, kind of crinkle in the corner of her eyes. And the rest of you would see that she has this deep look of sadness and an incredible amount of empathy as she looks over towards Torch. And she says, Arthur was a very good man. And I don't know exactly how this will affect Torch, but I am glad, at least, that he did not suffer. That will be something that make things easier on her and on the rest of us who cared for him. Right. Was there anything else of note? Or I know that you are not experienced members of the Corps, but perhaps anything unusual or anything at all, any details that you may have forgotten or that you may remember as we talk about this, anything at all that may change any procedures.
That realm had 2 suns.
That has been reported from time to time, yes. Or realms with no suns as well. Other worlds are strange things.
There was a cabin there, but didn't see much inside or anything out of the ordinary.
Right.
Is it noted anywhere that this person is known for opening rifts?
Opening rifts? We've heard no such tales, but is not out of the realm of possibility.
What were the other circumstances that the other guardians have heard of this individual you speak of?
As far as we know, she seems to be another world's traveler. Someone who moves from realm to realm. She's been spotted in several different rifts, mostly just at a distance, never approaching, never directly interfering with our operations, and so far she's been seen as nothing more than curiosity.
Then how do they know that her name is Minosha Tarvalin?
That is a title given to her by some of our first Guardian Corps members. Apparently, whenever she is around, there are visions, sights, or things that are particularly terrifying. Things that root you in fear or some type of other circumstance. As long as you stay away from her, these effects are typically non-existent or at least very easily manageable, but those who have stumbled across her from a close perspective have mentioned these things. While we've never interacted with her directly, as far as we know at least, it is just a name, something that we use to refer to her when we can. Whether or not that is her real name, that is entirely beyond our understanding. And given the strength that she shows, and given the situation with Arthur, perhaps it is something we will never know. We do need to make sure that all of our members stay as far away from her as humanly possible. Right. Well, you see she kind of glances back towards Torch. I wish to ask of you all something. It comes from a personal place, and perhaps I'm overstepping my bounds here. And perhaps I am giving you information that you may use to hurt me or hurt other people. But I trust, given your duty to the core and given your display of heroics and last evening, that you are good people and that you will not use this against me. But she kind of glances over towards Torch, and she kind of stands up and walks over, and you see she takes a hand and kind of runs it across Torch's cheek. She kind of looks back over at you guys and says, Torch is my daughter. And while in order to avoid claims of nepotism and other favoritism claims, we have decided to keep this information as close to our chest as possible. I cannot go out of my way to make sure that she is seen to, that she is... I can't do as much as I wish I could, and so I will ask you to help her in my stead. If that is a thing you are willing to do, then I will accept your help.
Well, I'm a sucker for a familial bond. Also, I'm sorry for both of y'all's loss.
Right. It is a thing we can see coming from a mile away. It is a thing you know will happen at some point, but it doesn't ease the hurt.
Exactly.
Help her
I-
get over this if you can. Help her heal. And I will see to it that as long as your bold actions and your continued service continues, that you will be rewarded for it.
All right. Try our best, I suppose.
Thank you. Thank you very
Rewarded
much.
how?
Oh, my lord.
Within the realms of possibility. You see she kind of chuckles a little bit. I am well aware of you and your friends, Mr. Agasford. I know exactly what it is you think of me and my comrades and colleagues in the council. You
I
will
have no
not...
idea what you're talking about.
You will not manage to exploit me, but I will see to it that regardless of your views on my political stance, that you will receive compensation commiserate with your actions.
So many secrets. Men have secrets. You have secrets. Why people unable to just tell us exactly what's going on?
A very astute observation, Mr. Zinn. Would that everyone would be completely honest and bold, but unfortunately, such is not the case with the world.
Yeah, people up in the politics or higher up always have something to hide.
Be it politics, or be it home relationships, or be it just meeting someone in the street and not wanting them to know how much money you have in your pocket back when that was the thing. There are always little white lies, little mistruths that people spread.
I'm
Yeah, I don't
just
really get that
once.
analogy with the coins in your pocket. I don't really know what that means.
Back when, before the fall, we traded money for goods and services. I can't say that with a straight face.
I just raised my eyebrow. What type of goods and services?
Money made the world go round.
Oh,
Still don't really understand it, but all right, if you say so, old lady.
will money make them dance?
It could, perhaps.
Money make me, $1 make me holla.
All right, now don't devolve too far, goddammit.
$1 bill, y'all.
You all may continue to spend your evening here, should you wish, or if you would like, you can return to your barracks. We will continue to speak at a later time, but for now, I must rest. I have much work to do in the morning, organizing and getting ready for the day's crops growth. So I must be away at the moment, but thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for being there when no one else will be. I appreciate it.
But of course.
Right. Well, you see she kind of heads off towards the door. She kind of turns back a little bit and says, good luck. I will keep the details of your adventures on a need-to-know basis, but your training in the Corps will continue. You'll be assigned a new captain very soon, and I wish you all the best.
Before you go, if we're heading back to our barracks, should I take Torch back to hers or just kind of leave her be? Because I know when she wakes up, if we're gone.
You see she looks over at Torch and she smiles. Torch knows this place like the back of her hand. She will be fine. She's been here since she was a little girl. If she needs to be somewhere, she will get there. That is perhaps the most defining trait.
I have a question for you. In the meantime, us waiting for next orders, captains, training, are we supposed to be continuing patrols or anything of the like? I'm kind of concerned in regards to that. At the moment, we may not seem like a hope, like Captain Arthur was wanting. I feel that our presence, instead of giving reassurance, will probably lead to more being concerned of what could have taken away such a strong member and lead to more fear, which he did not want. So what do we do?
You do nothing. The morale of the city and its people are my job, and I will see to it that they are that their hope is swelled and that Arthur receives the honors and recognition that he is due. As far as the city is concerned, leave that to me. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I am very good at my job. You continue to be you. You should meet your captain by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening at the latest. Things will continue as normal, hopefully. And at this, you see she does kind of get a severe kind of, not really a glare, but she does like squint her eyes and her face kind of hardens a little bit. Hopefully this is the last time that anything like this happens, and we shouldn't have to worry about this type of situation again. But we shall see.
Was she squinting her eyes at anyone in particular?
No, just over the whole group. Just kind of think Harry Potter, like McGonagall, like why is it always you three, kind of, you know, you kind of glance.
I don't know why we're getting that look, but
Just got here.
Okay.
This is called foreshadowing.
I did slap your your chest, Dad.
What?
well, all right.
Amelia and Amaya leave. Torch is still asleep, and the nurse is kind of going about doing their thing. She walks to the other end of the room, helping those other guys out, and you guys are kind of alone for a minute or two on this side of the room. What do? Any
Hey,
conversations
Y'all
Ray.
know
you
that
guys want to
she
have?
was
Or,
the one who like opened up all the rifts and like started all this shit. You guys know that, right? Like she's the evil one.
I'm gonna stop talking to you for a second. Rylith,
Why?
Yes.
would you you want to head back to the barracks?
I think that's where we were supposed to be heading. So
We had an
yes.
option. We could stay here. We could head back. And if you're gonna head back, you want to ride on my shoulder? It looks cool.
Why would I want? I am quite capable of flying and or walking. She looks at Aggie. On my own. Thank you.
I just figured I'd
Why?
offer. Maybe your wings get tired sometimes.
It takes a lot for that to happen. Thank you for the concern.
You're so welcome. I'm gonna head right out the door.
as you
Wait,
go
you're a
to,
grower, not a shower, I guess, right? Can you like just become big anytime?
Is that really how we're going to be phrasing this? No,
Yeah, I don't see what's
not
wrong with
any
that.
time. There are limits to it. Why?
Yeah.
So
I
only
wish
like
I was
I'm just
big.
just curious. Don't really see anyone get super big like you do.
Yeah. You got pretty erect.
You know what? Maybe I am going to go join her. You know what? I'm goodbye. And she's just gonna go. Like, nope,
What's
this
up
isn't the
with those two?
conversation she wants.
as
Go ahead.
Raylith and Mimi go to leave the room, the nurse strides up on the other side of the room and says, "Well, that was very interesting. Very well done."
Ha!
Do we recognize the voice?
You do, yes.
Is it
Is it men?
It is, yes.
the hot lady? All right.
I'm gonna stop right in my tracks and.
I
Does
thought
she
you already
look the
left the
same?
room.
No, she looks different, obviously, right?
Yeah, she looks like a nurse.
Okay. So this is what you. So
I did tell you that I would be around, did I not?
I didn't think it would A, be this soon, and B, like this.
Well, in order to keep things minimal and keep my interactions mostly under the radar, this is how I will be interacting with you for quite some time. At least until you are ready to reveal my particular influence, at least. Which, by the way, I did not tell you you had to keep our interactions secret. But I do
Got cut off. I just left it at that.
I do appreciate the discretion.
Now that you're here, I have a question. You spoke about power.
Hungry, are we?
I like to use my hands. I need to know the technique to turn someone into goop with a single slap. It will come
This
in
is
handy.
not a conversation that is appropriate
my
in any
God.
way, given what just happened.
Make
I
sure
can
you're
His
here.
daughter is asleep in the room.
I can give you
I'm
some
sorry.
techniques to goop some people.
For fuck's sake. Given enough time, your power will rival mine. If the correct actions are taken, and if you have the drive, the gumption to follow the orders that I give, and to do what needs to be done. But it will
Now, when
take
you say-
time.
When you say do it needs to be done, is there? I mean, not that. I mean, kind of against it, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Not that I've had to do it before, but there's no like children involved, is there?
She just looks at you.
Okay.
What
I've
needs
read
to
some
be done?
books. Okay.
I cannot speak to the future. I do not have precognition, and even if I did, it is unreliable in its best form. There may be things you have to do that you don't want to, but will be necessary in order to, as I told you, receive the power you will need to save this world. She kind of looks around. It is a very beautiful world, I'll give you that. Granted, it's not much to look at from inside these city walls, but outside, well, you'll be able to see it again one day.
So, were you coming here just to let us know that you're around, or did you have something else to say?
No, just keeping an eye on things and checking in. But I am
Well,
here, and I will be around when necessary. For now, you all have work to do. I've told you what we need, but you do not know what it is, where it is, or even what it means. Your first step should probably be to answer those questions.
I thought I
just
was
ask
done with
people?
learning.
You could ask people. You could do research. However it is you manage to get around it. The steps taken aren't necessarily important, as long as you achieve the information required for me to be able to inform you of our next steps.
Well,
Yeah,
all
I'm gonna
right
just let you
then.
know right now, I'm not a very good reader. That much to read around here. So
But you are
the
very good
other,
with talking, so there should be something you can do.
Yeah,
I'm
but most
sorry,
of this
you
talk
just
is
heard the
nonsense.
conversations in there, and you're gonna say he's good at talking?
Well, the perspective.
She's judgy.
She's hot. Of course she's judgy.
Rayleigh is hot.
I,
Okay.
all right. Since that's all you needed, I'm gonna go take my nap now. You know. So I got a little few aches in my bones. So I'm going, and then
Indeed.
I'm just gonna.
We're in no
Oh,
rush. Enjoy your evening, and when you need me, simply call, and I'll be here.
Call what? Do I just yell
uh,
men?
My name, dear.
Okay.
Scream it for me.
No, thank you.
Enjoy your evening. I'll see you all
I
very
think
soon.
Mimi's screaming it right now. Can you spell her name again?
It's a shortening of Minoshatar's. So Minosha is Menosha. It's Men is how she says it. Min.
Menosha.
Yep. And then Tars. It's 2 words.
Tris. All right, that was close. I threw an apostrophe in there because Elvish bullshit.
Yeah,
But, you know,
there's apostrophes in weird places
God
in
damn it.
fantasy names. That's just how it works.
I'll just look at Aggie and just, I think your woman was flirting with me.
I think she was flirting with everyone.
You have to keep that under control.
D&D has to at least be a little bit horny at all times.
Do you think I can control that? Like, you saw what she did to Arthur? One smack goop?
Yeah, just don't get smacked.
But there's no fun in that.
I mean, you figure it out. Look, we have our fellow member is in love with a fairy, so that's the thing that we have to deal with as well, which explains why she wanted Rayleigh to ride on her shoulder. But this whole thing is out of control, really.
I know, we're just threw a bunch of young people together who are just apparently horny as fuck. It's wild. Why would they do such a thing?
Who knows?
Oh my god.
Anyway, you hungry? Let's go get some food.
We just ate.
I could eat more. It was exhausting. I was asleep for 24 hours.
I tried to stealthily get away, but fell. But still walked away to the barracks.
You're going
I
to
failed to see you stealth away.
Oh, that works.
Okay, so Raylith and Mimi and Zen are going to the barracks. You guys gonna go clock out for the night?
Shit, we've been clocked in this whole time?
Not say. I mean, we just wait. What? I think you took that differently. I mean, she's been sleeping for 24 hours. I don't know that she'll be able to sleep, but she's definitely going to go to like the barracks and then probably just sit on the bed trying to fucking piece together everything that just happened twice now.
And
So-
Zen is probably gonna work out for a little bit, take a shower, they'll probably head to maybe some form of information place area room.
There's a library in the city that has collections of pre-Veilbreak books and knowledge and stuff. This was a university before the events of that first week and stuff. So they do have a rather large connection or collection of literature and stuff like that. It might be a decent place to start. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's where after I work out, that's where I'm heading to.
Okay, Mimi, what's your?
Well, Mimi still has a couple little eggs. You know, one of those. I think it was one of the wolves that bit me, or tried to.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna rest my weary bones. Can real life Mimi also go get her food?
Yeah, you can do that.
Delightful.
Okay, so Raylith is in the barracks processing. Zen is going to work out and take a shower. So while Mimi, decides to clock out. So we're going to go in order here. And we're going to go with Mowgli heading towards the cafeteria of the Guardian complex here. So you enter the cafeteria. And even at such a late hour, because it is late, you realize as you're kind of walking through the core and through the core complex and walking through the courtyards and stuff that make up that it is the sun has set at this point. The moon is kind of high in the sky and stuff. But as you enter the cafeteria, there's still plenty of people around, getting food and stuff like that. People who are just coming off shifts on patrol or like wall watches and stuff like that. It's a fairly busy place. There's probably 15 to 20 tables kind of scattered around a large, think like gymnasium-sized room with a bar on one side that has like plates and silverware and stuff like that, all carved from metal or wood. And they are kind of lined up, and then it kind of goes through a little thing where there's a few like people who are kind of like taking orders, and it works kind of like if you've ever been to like a Whataburger or one of those stuff like that, where they give you a little like tab with a number written on it and stuff, and then you take that number and take it to your table, and they have servers and stuff who will bring out the food to you. So as you go up, the way this works is you'll just kind of walk up to whoever's available. Think like a bank teller office. As soon as no one's in that line, you just walk up and tell them what you would like. So as you kind of grab your plate and your tray and stuff and you walk up, you walk up to what appears to be a gnome. Gnomes in this particular world look a lot like the dwarves from Snow White, where they are very short. They have these big round noses and these kind of like, they all wear the same kind of droopy hat over their heads, and they have these really long beards. And you walk up to one of these gnomes who's serving. He's standing on a little platform behind the bar so he can see over the top of it. As you approach, he says, "Hi, welcome. Don't think I've ever seen you before."
No, I'm new. I just, I joined yesterday, kicked ass today, making a name of myself,
Oh, you're doing better than I
doing
am.
greatness.
Yeah, I just joined yesterday too. I've already got myself demoted to working in the cafeteria.
Yep. That sounds You
It's
do you
fine.
get like free food working at the cafeteria?
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes, yeah, I get some scraps that people leave on the plate. I don't understand why people leave stuff on the plates. It doesn't work like that, but at home. But here we are, and yeah, I got some pork
Wait,
earlier.
you're
It's pretty
telling
good.
me that like people don't eat all the food on a plate?
Not always.
You know, like most people out there are like on rations, like strict rations that like the hell is going?
I don't know. It's a problem, right? It's a
Yeah.
thing. Anyway, well, we got people waiting in line. What would you like today?
I would like a shepherd's pie. I would like a sweet berry pie. I would like a lasagna. I would like fish stew. I would like some gazpacho. I would like some sauteed carrots, please.
All right. Well, we got the carrots, and I think we got a bit of the pie left, the sweet berry pie. But what we got to do is, and he points to like this board behind him that you haven't noticed yet. It has a menu on it. He says, "Well, right now what we got is we got 3 types of meat. We got the beef, the pork, and the chicken, and you can have it fried or grilled, whichever one you prefer. And we don't have any of the lamb left, unfortunately. That was all eaten earlier today, so we have ran out. We also have broccoli." And then we have fried potatoes, and then we
Can you
have
say
something
broccoli again for me?
broccoli, and then we have something called cauliflower that I'm not a big fan of. It gets stuck in my teeth. I don't like it very much. And then we have corn on the cob, which I am a big fan of. Absolutely love that stuff.
What are the meats again?
I got chicken, beef, and pork.
And what were they before they were chicken, beef, and pork?
I don't know.
Okay. I'll have fried chicken, grilled pork, medium rare beef, please. I'll take some corn. That'd be cool. Broccoli
I
and
love the corn.
cauliflower, both of them both kind of smell like feet. So I'm good. I'm good. And I'll take 2 sweet berry pies. And 3 helpings of the fried potatoes.
All right. And he writes everything down, sticks it on a little piece of paper that has a number up top, and then hands you the little tab that says the same number. He says, "Right, how you know what? I gotta say again, I really do enjoy the corn. It's one of the greatest things ever because you can eat it with your hands and tear it off with your teeth. It's kind of like beer.
Kind of like what?
Beer,
Bee?
beer, like the drink.
Beer?
Yeah."
Never heard of it.
Never heard of beer? Beer's great. So it's this thing that you
Oh.
drink and it gets you drunk, right? And I see corn. I sees the way I sees it, right? Is corn is not fun to eat because it gets stuck in your teeth, kind of like the cauliflower, right? But it's really fun to eat, so it's kind of like beer because beer is really fun to drink, but you don't like the hangover. And corn is really fun to eat because you don't like it being stuck in your teeth, but it's fun to rip it off, right? I'm really
have-
bored back here.
I can tell. What's your name?
I wish I
Young
could
boy?
be out fighting. It's Tomas.
Tomas?
Yes, I wish I
Tomas?
could be out fighting like you, but I'm stuck back here working because I kept getting into fights.
I feel like you getting into fights would be a great member of going to rafes and like dying.
That's what I says. But look, so there I was, right, and I was talking to this guy, and then he called me short, and so I did what happens, and I punched him
Oh.
in his gonads, right?
Yeah.
And so the next thing you know, right, I've got Mr. Steel Grip over here. Mr. Steel Grip tells me, he says, you're gonna end up like getting in trouble again, and he gives me this whole speech about the definition of insanity. You ever heard about it?
If you see things in the dark, you go all crazy and like start killing people, right? That's the definition of insanity.
That's not what he says to me. He says to me, he says, definition of insanity is a person doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. All right, but the way
feel
I
like
sees
that's-
it, the way I
That doesn't
sees
make
it,
no sense.
All right. Well, if we use that definition, right, the way I see it is everybody that keeps calling me short is actually the ones that's insane. Because every time they call me short, they get punched in the gonads.
Yeah.
It's
You
the
know
same
what? I have
thing,
a
and it
friend.
keeps getting the same result.
I have a friend. He is a dwarf. He is a very good fighter. He can teach you how to like speed bag those gonads.
Oh, I'm already there. I
You
mean,
can go get one there and on the way back.
I'm really good at the speed bags.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
if I
All
can
right.
reach it.
But like that definition of insanity doesn't make any sense. Like the Guardians always go into a rift, hoping to close a rift. Does that make us insane? Going into rift and closing shit?
I reckon it does a little bit,
We
yeah.
live day in, day out in this city thinking the rifts are the big issue, but they're not. They're just something that, our dear leaders are doing to keep us in place. What we should be doing is not really fighting the rifts, but going up to the council and like figuring out what they're doing that's all secretive out down below. You know what I mean?
How loud are you saying this?
Uh, my voice is getting a little steadier, louder. I
Oh,
think after the
okay.
speed bag, the gonad things, I got very excited.
Okay. About halfway through your conversation, halfway through that little monologue speech, you feel a presence behind you. And as you turn around, you see a 7'5", very, very well built Goliath. Gray skin, tribal tattoos, bald head, mean teeth. And he just kind of looks down at you and says, "What's all this then? Are you over here talking about all great leaders?"
All great leaders. They're lying to you.
Is that what you think?
No, that's what I know.
And why'd you join the Corps then, huh?
To figure out how, and why they're opening up the rifts.
You see, he thinks for a second because he's not very smart. And he goes, "Are you saying you's a spy?"
Me, a spy? No. Who will be spying for?
You says you come in here to get information and not to join the Corps for its core values. So you're saying you're a spy?
No, here. Let me show you. And I'm gonna do minor illusion of like a portal in my hand. And the minute I cast that, I'm going to make him do a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw for a charmed condition.
He's not going to have a very high wisdom. I'm going to give him a -1. We're going to roll. You said DC 15?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a 16. -1 is 15, so he passes. Meter beat.
Brother, I can only do that once per day. Like, come on.
As you kind of cast it, you see he's starting to get a little bit angry. He's starting to heat up a little bit. And he says, "You know what? I'm tired of all these little pipsqueaks in here trying to. I don't even know how you can." And around the time he says pipsqueaks, Tomas, the gnome, steps around the counter and punches him in the gonads.
Victory!
There's a loud thump and then a crash as all of these plates and stuff that he's holding kind of falls to the ground. And then everybody in the entire cafeteria who was watching this kind of thing, because it's kind of grown quiet in the background, a lot of people immediately grab their stuff and leave. And you see Tomas kind of sitting and staring down at this Goliath and goes, "Oh no, I did it again."
Man, you have a crazy right hook. Like, why? What did they? You dropped that guy like a sack of potatoes. That's amazing. One hit to the man. I'll have my friend Zin come down here so you take lessons from you, because he's going to need that. He's not much taller than me. We fight some tall people. He would have had to hit that guy twice in the gonads. So boom, boom.
As you're kind of giving this
bonk.
conversation, I mean, within seconds, as people are trying to clear out of the room, they immediately stop and they all kind of move to the sides of the door, because in steps a person that you would know very well, Boreal Steelgrip, the commander of the Guardian Corps. A very stocky, very well-built dwarf wearing pants, no shirt, chest open to the breeze, a very, very long, kind of russet-colored beard with his hair pulled back into a ponytail, sweat glistening on his chest and stuff because he was just next door working out when he heard the stuff. And he comes over and says, "All right, what's going on then?" And he kind of sees the Goliath. Kind of sees the Goliath on the ground, sees Tomas.
Yeah, the Goliath was running his mouth, not really stepping up to the Guardian Corps tenant, so we had to take him down a peg.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Kind of looks down, he says, "All right, well, Simon there is one of our best members of the Guardian Corps. So you want to tell me how exactly he's not upholding the tenets of the Corps then?"
We're supposed to protect the people, right? And not give in to fear and protect us from fear, right? That's one of the tenets that we have.
Oh, you're one of Arthur's.
Kind of. I only knew the guy for 15 minutes.
Right.
And he was kind of mean to me the entire time. Wasn't really a big fan of him.
Right.
But rest in peace.
All right. You see, he's
Shalom
just
and all
kind of
that
looking
stuff.
back and
Yeah.
forth between you and between Tomas. And he says, "Okay, then." And you've heard stories about Boreal Steelgrip, about his temper and about his how he seems like he's a brute, but he's actually a very, very intelligent man. And he says, "Okay, let's handle this then. Tomas, you are officially demoted again. Remember our conversation about the definition of insanity? We're going to keep getting demoted, and as far as we can demote you until we have to get rid of you. You're now on latrine duty." And you see Tomas is like, "Oh, man." And this is right. Until further notice, you are to be cleaning out the latrines on an hourly basis. Get to it then. Kind of sends Tomas off and then kind of looks at you.
Tomas is a great fighter. He's dropping mofos with one hit.
Oh,
And you want him to clean latrines? He could be dropping wolves and dragons and stuff, just pummeling those gonads left and right, just taking them out.
well,
And you want him on latrine duty?
assuming his target has a nutsack, then yeah, he could take him out. But not everything
a
does.
nutsack isn't really that. Hey.
The problem
You hit
here
some
isn't his strength. The problem is his ability to listen to orders.
You want to get rid of him? Just send him through a rift. That's what we do anyway. That's what we're here, right? Go through a rift.
You must be the one that Amaya told me about.
What does she know about that? I don't know Amaya at all. Never met her in my life.
All right.
I highly doubt she'll know anything about me.
All right. Look. The Guardian Quarter works because we follow orders. Because we have a mission that we are all concentrated and seeing through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you are causing unrest, or if you are causing issues in the belief of our mission with other people, then that is a problem. And that problem will see you demoted, just like Tomas there, until you get kicked out. You're kicked out. Well, it doesn't happen very often, but I assume you know what happens to disgraced members of the Guardian Corps, correct?
Yeah, he says through rifts. Never to return. Kind of mean, actually.
That's not what happens at all. But alright, if that's what you think. You see, he's just giving you the most curious, eyebrow raised look. You're a weird one.
Hey, I'm not the one walking around with no shirt on. Like, are you trying to prove something?
Looks down at an 8-pack.
Like, we all work out. Like, come on.
Wait. Wait,
Oh,
wait, wait.
Aggie's
Wait.
very pudgy, by the way.
Wait. No, because you said a particular phrase. You said, are you trying to prove something?
Hmm.
Mm.
Can
Great.
Aggie please stop fucking up shit?
Because I know for a fact that you've
Uh,
read all the history on Boreal Steel Grip and why he's here. And his
You
particular
gave us history?
backstory.
Holy shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so
You didn't give us-
we've talked about Boreal Steel Grip and talked about how he achieved his thing and how everybody achieved his position in the Guardian Corps and how everybody was
Okay.
talking about nepotism because he is related to the Dwarven kings in Umlaut. But how he hates that. He hates people bringing it up because he thinks his position is rightfully earned. And you just asked him if he's trying to prove something.
I totally forgot all that, but this is fantastic.
Aggie's
I'm glad
about
I
to
asked
get
that question.
ass handed to him, and we've literally been here a day.
Now
Oh
I'm
wait,
good.
consciously a day.
Not even. Not even.
Barely. Barely.
Now we're good.
I think Steel Grip would step up to you. Inches away, because he's only a few inches taller than you, right?
He's probably like 1.5 feet or something taller than me.
I think he'll step up. He'll look down. Why? Do you think I have something to prove?
I don't know. You're walking around with no shirt on. Like, are you trying to impress the ladies? Or are you trying to like prove to these younger men that like you still got it?
What is your name?
Norbert.
Norbert.
Yeah.
Norbert, I'm going to give you exactly one warning. And only one.
Mm-hmm.
Do not cause problems in my core. If you
I would
continue
never.
to cause
I wasn't-
problems in my
I wasn't
core...
causing problems when this happened. It was just
Shut up.
Goliath, man. All right. Just afraid of the truth.
If you continue to cause problems in my core, then I'll see to it that you are banished. And that your time before you are banished from here will not be... You see him like balling up his fists and kind of tensing his muscles and stuff. Will not be the greatest time that you've ever seen. Do I make myself clear?
Crystal.
Go to your bed.
But can I get food first?
No.
I'm a little hungry. I closed a rift yesterday. Come on. Did something.
Get out.
Buzzkill. All right. Talk to you later. And I'll just leave the cafeteria.
Okay.
Aggie
I
is going
just
to
pissed
die.
me
Aggie needs an
off.
adult at all times.
Aggie needs fucking supervision.
There's a
Aggie needs tape over his mouth.
Also, I really think it's funny because I really think Mowgli forgot about that history.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
But we did talk
Out of
about
my
that.
notes. You know, I created this story or this character with the need for an adult in the room. And so we made an adult in the room and he's meditating. He's not adulting.
Meanwhile,
Dwarves, man.
while all this is happening, Zin, you do your exercise, you take your shower, and you head off to the library. It is pretty late at night, and the library is unfortunately closed. They don't really let people kind of wander around too much at night because it is much harder to protect the city. There's not exactly a curfew, and people are welcome to walk around on their own. But most people will leave and go home and stuff for the evening. And because of that, there's no people like working in the library. So you do find that the library has been, closed for the evening. So it seems like you'll have to wait at least until morning and stuff. Do that. But is there anything you're doing while you're walking around the city, or any actions, anything like that you want to take, or are you just gonna head back to the barracks?
I probably wouldn't head back to the barracks. I would head to the calf to see if Aggie is there because I've been away for so long. And it's just always like a hunch feeling where you knew somebody from childhood that something's going on.
Okay.
And it's just, yeah, so I'll probably see if he's there. If not, then I'll probably ask around to see where he is.
Okay. I think you would come into the aftermath of this particular situation. And I think that you would see the Goliath being like carried out on a stretcher. And the people kind of talking to each other, like everybody who was in the cafeteria, other members of the Guardian Corps who were like whispering to each other and kind of having hushed conversations, and just be like, that halfling almost got his ass smashed, bro. Like, holy crap. And then like, that gnome fucking, he ended that guy. Look at him. Like, he's not even, is he even breathing? As they're looking at the Goliath as he's being carried out and stuff. And the Goliath is just like whimpering and moaning and like holding his nutsack very tenderly. And meanwhile, Boreal has already left. But this is kind of the scene you walk into. What do?
Immediately, what did you do?
Aggie
I'm
is gone.
not there.
Yeah.
Oh, Aggie's gone?
Yeah.
Okay. So I go, I guess, to a table where people are whispering and try to assess the situation, like get more information. Like, you said a halfling? What happened?
I think you would approach, we'll say, a human man, kind of late 30s, dark hair, kind of scraggly a little bit, and he'll be like, yeah, man, it was like this halfling, and there was kind of a fight, right, where like this gnome just, I mean, it was crazy, man. Like, he hit that guy in his nuts like one time, and he just folded, right? Like, it was crazy. And then like there was this halfling, and they were having a conversation, and then Boreal, you know Boreal, right? Boreal came in, and he was like doing his whole thing and trying to, like, calm the situation. And this halfling just walks right up to Boreal, right in his face, and starts talking shit, man. And it was crazy. Like, Boreal almost ended that guy, like, completely batshit. Like, that guy is unhinged.
Was this halfling about, I would gesture, about yay high in height and
Yeah,
curly hair?
Yeah, and he had that crazy cloak, right? Like the one that's like, like it's all those different colors and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. You know him? Yeah, that guy's
Um,
hardcore, man.
Yeah, that's I look after him for reasons like this. I was only away for a few minutes, and okay, maybe it was like an hour or so, but
yeah, you got to keep that guy on a leash, man. Like, he almost went up against Boreal. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, Boreal, like, he's not very big, right? Like, but man, I've seen him annihilate people. Like,
yeah, yeah, and he's good with his mouth. If his mouth was a weapon, oh, just on a whole different level. But power wise, he does about two damage.
yeah,
And it's
well,
just it's
like,
terrible.
he's gonna get himself in trouble, man. Like, you got to keep him pointed in the right direction, man. You like point him towards the bad guys and let him go, sure, but like, you can't be stepping up to Boreal, man. He's a hero. You know what I mean? Like, he's been here forever.
But what happened? Why was the Goliath holding his nuts?
Cause that little gnome guy, man, just like, pow.
So was the Goliath trying to talk to the halfling? Like,
I don't know, man. I didn't see all that part, man.
Do you how long ago? Like where did the halfling go?
I don't know, man. He just left.
This is his first. This is our first day. It's already a lot going on. I can't even go to the library. I can't. Like this place forbids reading apparently at night.
Oh,
Um,
it's your first day. Welcome to the Corps, man.
thank you, thank you. And apparently I'm missing a lot because people are getting punched in the nuts, and our first day recruits are about to get destroyed. And I have a lot already going on. It's just thank you, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, man. Hey, try those. Try that cauliflower stuff. It's pretty good.
I will look and see that there's no chef
No,
in.
no, there's not. Yeah.
um. So how can I? Who's running the kitchen?
Oh, well, that was the gnome. I guess we gotta wait till someone gets here. Hey guys, no more food.
All right. I guess I just throw my hands up and I'll start looking for Aggie.
Meanwhile, as you go chasing off through the complex after wherever Aggie might have gone, we might come back to that. Mimi, you're clocked out, doing the big sleep. Raylith, sitting in the barracks, kind of trying to process everything and kind of come to terms with everything that happened. The death of Arthur, the deal that you've made with men and what it might entail. And something else that you may not have kind of been thinking about while you're thinking about this, but lying to Amaya Silverstrand.
Yeah, no. She was probably trying to talk to Mimi as Mimi's like laying down, just being like, I can't believe that guy just like flat up lied to them. Like, are we on this side? And like, she's not even realizing. Like, she's probably just going on a full tangent of like what happened in that room because like she is not for lying to these guys. And like when Aggie would have done that, she would have been like staring him down. So she's probably trying to vent to Mimi, who is just checked out.
Yeah.
Like she's probably sitting there talking and not even realizing she's dead unless she's like a heavy ass snorer, in which case she'll go quiet.
I do want to make a point because we had to talk about your backstory at least a little bit here. But Amaya Silverstrand, Boreal Steel Grip, Arthur Wright, and so many other people in the politics side of things and on the Guardian Corps side of things, like these guys are your heroes. These are the guys who like you look up to more than anything else because you love the Guardian Corps. You love what it does. You love what it means. And you've been here for a day and everything's going sideways. How, like, what is your thought process? What are you doing when you're sitting in this kind of like dark barracks room trying to process? What is your what's your thoughts? Like, tell us, what you're kind of doing, what you're thinking as you're sitting here.
Honestly, just it is a lot for her. She probably tried talking to Mimi, and then once she realizes she's asleep, she's kind of just mulling it over in her head. Like, one of her heroes got obliterated in front of her, and then now we're working with, I'm gonna put in parentheses, for who knows, this chick who basically just held an ultimatum over our head with no real option aside from die, world get destroyed, or join and do what she wants. Like, it's not really a choice there. So she's still super torn on that. The whole thing with Min, and then now Min showing up here, like, she wanted to ask Min, like, because the Guardian Corps doesn't just like accept anybody. You have to go through stuff to get in there. So would they not notice if this is like some random nurse? What did she do to the person if it was like a well-known nurse and somehow she's like taking her form or something? Like, what is going on? Like, honestly, she's trying to keep basically quoting Rule 1, Rule 2, and what Arthur taught them at that garden. Like, you can't let doubt creep in. You can't let the fear creep in because her doubting everything and kind of being concerned is gonna cause a problem. She's supposed to not be that. So she is super conflicted. And with Mimi asleep and her just kind of stuck in her head, she'll probably make her way back out of the barracks and head back toward the room that we were in, the infirmary kind of a thing, and go sit by Torch for a while because she's got all this stuff going through her head, and apparently they sat there all night, and she's gonna try to be there when they wake up, I guess. But just, she's stuck in her head with all the stuff going through. Like, this is not how she thought it was gonna go at all. The group she's with is questionable, like super.
That's certainly
And
a
she's
word,
just, again, trying to keep the fear of, like, what the fuck has she gotten herself into with this, like, at bay while she's gonna try to distract herself, I guess.
As you're heading back towards the infirmary, you have to go down, a few hallways out of one courtyard into the next building, that kind of thing. And in one of these courtyards, as you're making your way down this kind of like open air hallway with these like little pillars and stuff in between, you see in the courtyard Torch, awake. She's standing in front of this fountain with some like clear water and stuff that kind of runs out of it. Nothing extremely fancy, just a place for like people to kind of, wet themselves and wash themselves and cool themselves down while they're exercising and stuff in the courtyard. But she's standing in front of this fountain with her hands kind of resting on either side of it, kind of staring down into the water. She takes her face and kind of dips it and brushes it and kind of brushes back her hair a little bit. And she kind of does this like 3 or 4 times while you're watching over the space of like 4 or 5 minutes. What do you do?
She's gonna slowly approach because she does remember from the first meeting with Torch that Torch was kind of timid with meeting them. So she's gonna try to like go a little bit closer and then like clear her throat to not like startle her by like just tapping.
Okay. She will be startled anyway. She'll turn around and go, hey, Lilith.
Was trying not to do that. Sorry. How long have you been awake?
Just a few minutes, I think. I am. You see, she kind of tilts her head a little bit. I guess I am awake, huh? I was kind of hoping it was a dream or something. Figured she kind of turns and gestures towards the fountain. Splash myself enough, maybe I'd wake up or something.
I take it they told you the news.
Yeah. Mom was gone by the time that I woke up, but the nurse told me what happened. Yeah. She just kind of looks down.
Raylith is now sitting there wondering if the nurse is the same nurse, and now it's Min just basically, in a way, bragging about what the fuck she just did to her dad.
You guys left her there. Actions have consequences.
What exactly were you told?
That he tried to stand up. That he tried to give you guys enough time to run, but that thing that he was trying to protect you from, that it's too strong. Did it hurt?
I don't think he felt it.
It
was rather instant. I don't think he felt the pain.
It's good, I think. It's probably the best case scenario. I mean, he was always so brash, so eager to get into fights and to get into the portals and kind of deal with everything, and it's one of those things where, like, it's coming eventually. It's going to happen. You're going to get the news, but I mean, it's a... She just kind of looks off to the side. She's got tears forming up on the cheeks.
Rayla's not good with emotions, even being the middle child, so she's just gonna kind of reach out and try to give a little pat on the back. I'm really sorry for what it's worth. We didn't run. We tried to face them as well. It wasn't a run situation. We were all ready to go.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he died a hero, so it's the best you could have hoped for. It's what he wanted, I'm sure. We never talked about it, but it had to be the way that he wanted to go.
Well, he signed up for this job, and he was quite clear on rule number 1.
Yeah. But you see, she kind of like wipes tears away and stuff. But the work continues. Just because he's gone doesn't mean that the core is. There are still rifts to close, and there are still things that need to be done. We're not out of this yet. So I'm going back to my rooms, and then figure out who our new boss is tomorrow. I wonder who they'll give us.
Yeah, Rayla's not really gonna know what else to say to possibly comfort her. She hasn't personally lost anyone close to her. She's heard of, like, people passing in the rifts and stuff, but she hasn't had to experience it necessarily up close and personal aside from Torch's dad. So she's kind of just going to be quiet and let her talk until she doesn't want to anymore. And then, yeah. Are you going to be good?
I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
I mean, your dad did tell us to look for signs of fear, and doubt can be one of them. So just...
She just kind of lets out this little laugh. Yeah.
Maybe a few less splashes.
Yeah, maybe. I'll be sure that the next time you see me, you won't see any of the fear. I promise.
I don't think that's how I meant that, but yeah, okay. Just, we'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. And she leaves, moving off across the courtyard to the other side of the complex. What do?
Rayla breathes out very, very loudly and just like...
This is the fun part about splitting with the party, is I'm fairly certain the whole party wanted to be there for, trying to comfort Torch. But when we split and then there's only one person kind of dealing with it, it kind of throws the whole situation into a different light, different scenario. But it is what it is.
Just gonna make her way back to the barrack at this point. Like, that probably has her being like, yeah, no, I want sleep too.
Okay. The only two still out. If Raylith heads back to the barracks to go to sleep, Mimi's still asleep. Zen and Aggie. Aggie, where are you going? If you're not headed back to the barracks.
I think Aggie's just wandering around the grounds of the Guardian compound. just like kind of snooping, but just kind of just like wandering around, looking in places,
Okay.
trying to find something to do.
He means trouble.
Zin, can you roll me a d20? No check, just the d20, please.
Trouble? I'm not trouble. What are you talking about?
Damn.
He's lost his award.
Did you get a 5? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you don't find Aggie. That was a luck check, and there's nothing there.
I'm glad these rolls aren't combat today because they have not been good.
Hey,
No, they
Mine
have
out
not.
of
rolls-
combat has been great.
My rolls nearly caused combat.
So far, my rolls are still doing more damage than Aggie. So
What are you talking about?
I mean, it depends on if we're talking about like physical damage or reputational damage, because Mowgli's got you beaten one of them for sure.
Yep.
At this point, I am probably exhausted, depending on how long I've been trying to look for him.
Yeah, I'd say
And
a
then-
couple of hours probably.
That I'll just head to the barracks at this point because I'm tired,
Okay.
and I'll just I hope he's still alive.
Yeah. The only person left still awake is Aggie.
I think after a few hours, Aggie will try and find his way back, but he doesn't have a very good sense of direction. Except, yeah, he finds his way back after a few hours. He rolled real good.
Real good.
Rolled 18.
18. Okay. So you don't get
18.
lost in the complex overnight then. Okay.
Oh, and I think like he walks into the shared barracks to see everyone just asleep and just goes, "What are they doing asleep? We've been asleep for."
Not a very restful
Oh,
sleep though. Okay.
People are no fun.
So
My ass
Aggie.
still hurts, so I'll go to sleep as well, I guess.
Okay. So Aggie also turns in for the evening. By the time morning comes, you can all receive the benefits of a long rest if you would like. And you all wake up with the sunrise. There's no windows and stuff in this room, but it's kind of built in, almost kind of like genetic and stuff at this point. The city wakes up at sunrise, and so with the noises of other people leaving barracks, and with the city waking up and people moving towards the agriculture district, and that kind of loud general buzz that comes with these loud crowds and stuff of people moving from place to place, it's kind of hard to stay asleep past maybe we would say something like 8 or 9 a.m. Time wise, and so you guys are all kind of waking up around the same time, hearing each other move around the room. And shortly after that, as you guys are like, getting dressed and getting your stuff together, you guys hear a knock at the door.
Go
Come
away,
in.
we're naked.
Shut up. Come on in.
Why are you naked? We share a room. What?
I like sleeping at the
You gotta be
dude.
ready for rifts at any time. You need to be dressed and ready to move. Weapon on your side. Why?
I use magic. I don't need to be fully clothed to use
Rayla's gonna make
magic.
her way to the door to go open it.
Um,
Just hover over and get the handle.
Open the door and you see Torch, now dressed in her kind of normal outfit, in a black skirt, black shirt, with these little red ribbons and stuff everywhere, holding a clipboard.
Before she can say anything, Mimi is gonna get up, go up to her, and just give her a hug.
Okay. She kind of
And
lightly
step back.
taps you on the back. Okay. Thank you. I guess. Okay. So, you all have received the honor of having the day off, at least until this evening, when we'll meet our new commander. She kind of looks down at the clipboard. She says, I don't know who our new captain's going to be. They haven't decided yet, but As it turns out, we can't really do training if we don't have a captain. So you guys are free. Just make sure that you are back here at. She kind of looks down at the clipboard again. About 5 p.m. Because we're just gonna go with standard time. Because I don't know how else to do time, if I'm being honest. Just before sunset. And then you'll start your training officially again tomorrow. Miss Silverstrand would like to thank you for your service yesterday and to award you with this free day, and so that you don't have to go back to work immediately. So good job and good luck. And I will see you all back here this afternoon.
Before you go, can you not train with us?
I don't fight.
Well, not fighting necessarily, but I mean, before everything went chaos, your dad was showing us the ins and outs. I'm sure you've heard that a lot as well.
I've got like different kinds of training. It's more kind of gestures down to the clipboard. It's a lot more like organizational, I guess. I have to learn a lot of like policies and things like that. It's a lot more, I guess you would say, like book learning really than like actual training or anything like that. And I've already done most of my stuff. I've been here for a year already, so.
Do you know how to activate these? She's gonna pull out the Rift Disruption device.
Yeah, I do. I would avoid trying to activate it until you know how it works, though. That's going to be up to the captain to train you because they like to give, you would call them personal demonstrations, I guess. But please don't play with that. They're not toys.
I didn't plan on it. Saw what it did back there, or it's gonna do back.
Yeah.
Scary enough.
I mean, the big one won't activate while we're like here anyway. We have like protections against it, but the other stuff can still cause problems. I wouldn't mess with it too much until
The
you
big
know
one?
how to.
There's a bigger qubit thing that
No, the
is
actual
in the city?
no the room that actually triggers the disruption. That's what I meant.
Oh.
It doesn't work here.
Do you happen to need any help for the day, or would like some assistance?
I mean, if you're really good at like organizing stuff, then I'm probably just going to be helping out the city guard and doing some like rationing stuff and keeping records for them. That's what I normally do when I don't have a squad to deal with. So
You said you keep records and a bunch of policy stuff. Have you ever heard of something called a worldstone?
Worldstone?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of thinks for a second. I don't think so. Is it like a magic item or?
No idea.
I mean, I can look and see if like we have any or something, but I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I'll come with you since it's something we asked about. That way you can still do what you need to do, but you can point me in the direction.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, helping people carry stuff from like to people's houses and stuff. But yeah, I mean, the more hands, the better. More hands
You said
make for
magic
lighter work.
items. What's the policy with magic items?
Once you achieve certain ranks, you can request certain items of
What
certain
about Savior of the Realm?
qualities.
What does that get us?
Well, if you were actually saviors of the realm instead of just recruits, then you would probably get whatever you wanted. But right now, you just closed a single portal, and it's not really like that great.
Yeah,
we have people who have closed like hundreds.
A single
and,
portal in the city. How often does that happen? Huh?
like once a week, once a month,
Shit.
twice a month, something like that. It really depends.
Really? That happens that often? Where the hell have I been?
That's what the core's for. Why did you join the core if you don't?
I thought we were going out there to like close rifts, not like close rifts in the city.
No, we don't close rifts outside the city unless they're really, really
Maybe
close
that's
to the
wrong.
walls.
That's what I thought we did.
No.
What? Since when?
Why did you join?
Hey, there's a lot
Last
of
I told
questions being asked right now. Okay, we just woke up. leave him alone?
Last time someone asked me why I joined the Corps, they got knocked down real bad. They didn't get back up.
Yeah, I heard
No
about
matter
that.
what the song says, they got knocked down, didn't get back up. It was sad.
And we have a
Just
second
Alright.
campaign with Chumbawamba's 1990s hit. Tub Thumping is mentioned again. Hell yeah.
With every D&D campaign. I don't know how it doesn't.
And it wasn't
fail.
me this time.
On
We didn't
that,
even have like a whiskey drink. We didn't even have a vodka drink. Like, I don't know what happened to the guy, but he asked and he got knocked down. One punch.
Yeah.
Zid, oh my God, Zid, we have to go find this gnome named Tomas. Crazy guy. He can knock down anything with one punch. You should take some lessons from him.
Yeah, I heard about that when I was
Yeah.
looking for you.
Oh, well, when were you looking for me? That's nice of you.
Yeah, we'll
Everybody
talk
say hello
about
to Kat.
this.
Oh,
Because you apparently almost got your ass whipped.
no. I had my boy Tomas. He knocked down a Goliath, and then what's his name? Steel Grip got in my face about something. That man needs to put on some clothes while walking around the compound. It's
you
a
did
little.
what?
Huh?
Steel grip went up
Yeah,
to you?
yeah. Yeah, he came up to me, got my face,
And you're
tried to be
still
all
here?
mean, and yeah. You can't get
I
rid
vote-
of me after one session. What are you talking
I vote
about?
We
I mean,
hog
one day.
time. We treat them like a livestock. You hog time, then we just throw them in a chest somewhere.
Throw Boreal in the
talking about-
chest?
We're
Wow.
talking about
Oh.
Aggie,
You!
right?
Oh
Why
my
me?
lord! Oh my god.
I'll leave your side for just a few. You get into a fight.
You
You almost got killed.
No, I did not get into a fight. I didn't do anything. I was just there and present. Goliath called me and Tomas short. Tomas has a real big thing about being called short, so he went over and just bam, right in the nuts.
I don't get that. Nope. I take it back.
And why did
You
the
don't get
Goliath
that?
approach you? For what reason?
Racism.
Oh,
Torch, if you're ready to leave, I'm practically good to go.
Yeah, let's go ahead and head out.
I feel like he's trouble. So, more hands, right?
Yeah, let's make it a group effort and put some tape on his mouth.
good. You guys could watch him. Torch, is
No,
the
we don't wanna
library
watch him.
open?
She kind of, it should be, I guess.
All right.
I tried to stealthily get away, but once again,
Zin, what are you doing? You're really bad at that.
I'm just gonna do the old-fashioned muscle mommy carry on Aggie.
Yep,
Hey, wait.
like a tote
Can we
bag.
go get some food first? Breakfast? Hello?
Okay. All right, fine. You got a point there. Food does sound good. We'll head that way if you have some time.
I have all the time in the world.
I meant Torch.
Oh,
Yeah, you can go
What you
ahead and
doing?
get breakfast. We won't be distributing supplies for another couple of hours. Right now, they're doing the gathering from last night's growth, and then kind of divvying up everything, and that'll take a little while. So
Fantastic. We'll go see what's on the menu.
okay, I'll
speaking of
meet you
growth,
guys at
Rayleigh
the
has a credible one.
I'll meet you guys at the government complex then. I'll see you soon.
All right.
shame on you.
She kind of
Shame on you.
heads on. So we have Tote Bag Aggie, Mimi, and Raylith. And Raylith
Hey,
headed towards
my coat's stylish, man. What
the
can I say?
cafeteria. And we have Zin skipping breakfast and heading towards the library, right?
Yes,
Okay, once again splitting the party. 10 out of 10.
We're
I
good
guess.
at that.
We're just gonna have
it's a day off.
It's gonna be like
okay.
7 stories going on simultaneously at all points during this campaign. I can feel it in my bones.
Hey, they
I don't think I had a
volunteered to
choice of
watch
where I was going.
Aggie, so
No.
therefore, I'm free to go to the library to actually focus and not have to worry about where he just went off to.
We'll start off with the easy part and talk about the cafeteria. They do have a couple of new cooks in here today. The menu is pretty basic: sausage, bacon, eggs, grits, and toast. That's pretty much it. Breakfast is breakfast.
All right. I will order 55 bacon strips, 55 sausage.
A number 2 with extra dip. Yeah.
No.
So we're just gonna skip past that part. Can't have at least you gotta have at least one meme in every episode too. That's the way it goes. Is anybody doing anything special during breakfast, or are you guys eating and then going to meet Torch?
Raylith will mention that, like, so Min stayed with Torch and told them what happened to their.
Well,
That's
I
a
was
stealth like
asleep.
It's a little
grandioso, isn't
messed
it?
up,
Just
right?
like look at this thing I did, and like let me tell you about it. It affects me personally, but you know it was dope.
I'm sorry. Did
It
any
was-
of y'all stay with her?
No, but
Okay,
I
then that
don't
was a
know.
choice. They gotta live with it. All right, we're gonna finish our breakfast, and we're gonna, try to rectify her mistake a little bit, give her a little helping hand, try to get some knowledge out of it at the same time.
Are
Sounds
you
like a
guys
plan?
not concerned that she's walking
Nope.
around looking like something to? No.
Nope. No.
I feel like she was walking around here as something different before she kissed us.
I wonder if I can get another one of those.
Why are you
You need
all
to ask
like
the
this?
nurse.
What?
Why are you all like?
Why? Because we're marching to our deaths.
Every day.
Carpe diem,
Carpal what?
carpal tunnel.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever that means.
Yeah, it's like have a good day.
and none
Oh,
of you are
okay.
concerned at all that she's just in
Raylith.
here.
Raylith, dear, sweet pea. What have I said?
Eat breakfast.
No. Yes, eat some breakfast. Stuff your face. Get that energy you're gonna need for the day. That's step 1 today.
And Min isn't the real thing like we should worry about. You should really worry about Maya.
Okay. I feel
You're a
like this is a
bitch.
duck plate moment. Do you agree? Here, do you
What?
want some sausage?
Oh hell yeah!
Okay, there we go. Beautiful.
You see how
Congratulations.
many I can stuff in my mouth?
You have officially learned how to shut Aggie up, and that's to give him food. Meanwhile, Zin, you're heading to the library. When you enter the library, it is a 3-story building. Again, because this place was a university and stuff before it became the city of Astra. Well, you get the point. Before it became what it is now, anyway. And you see that the books and stuff are very well ordered. There's like 3 or 4 librarians that are moving around, putting stuff back on shelves and kind of doing their things. There's a few people in here that are like cozied up in like nook corners and stuff like that. And you see one of these librarians, kind of a middle-aged looking elf, comes up to you. She's got this dark hair and stuff that kind of runs down her back, wearing kind of just like a basic clothes, a skirt and a tunic, that kind of thing. Hello, can we help you with anything?
Oh yes. Okay. First, have you heard of anything? An item called a world stone.
World Stone. Not off the top of my head, but there's a lot of stuff here. We can search for it if you want to. We have a system.
Yes, let's give
Okay,
it a
yeah,
try.
yeah. Let's come back here. And she kind of leads you towards the back of the building where you find what appears to be a kind of a large dais with like a little podium kind of set on top of it. There's a series of what looks like scrolls just kind of set on top of it. She picks up one of these scrolls and she you said it was a world stone, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she writes it down. Is that one word or two?
2.
Two? Yeah, okay. Are you sure? Because so the thing is, like the way this works, if I search for the word world, the word stone, it's gonna throw like a bunch of false positives at us. We're gonna have to search for a long time because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of books that mention worlds and a lot of books that mention stone, and that's kind of the way it works.
Oh, okay. Um, is there any rules as far as volume goes in here?
Rules. Can you be more specific, please?
All right, so if I was to, let's just say, shout, men, I need you, hoping men would appear, but you know, is that not allowed?
Well, you would be bothering other people, and we try not to, we try to let people read in peace because reading is an escape for a lot of people, and that kind of peace and quiet can be very useful. So we do try to tell you to keep the volume down and not cause drama. I would prefer if you didn't yell directly in my face.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should probably think about that, but
Uh,
um,
I'll just mumble that.
technically,
Word for
no,
bitch.
we don't have rules against it, but we do have, um, you know, kind of rules of thumb and stuff here. So,
Mhm.
so are we searching for one word or two? Around that time, you'd hear, one word, just one, please. And you see, you would see a. Let me think. Okay, yeah. You would see a kind of older, grayed-haired, kind of salt and pepper, brushed back in a very distinguished manner with a little monocle, human man walk around the corner. Just one word. It is a singleton.
Thank you, kind sir.
Not a problem.
Very, very helpful.
Yes, of course.
So,
It's what I'm here for.
yes. So one word, please.
Okay. And you see she kind of writes down one word, and what she does is she places her hand upon it, and the paper itself will fold on its own. It kind of folds up into a paper airplane. Then takes off and goes flying up to the third floor, where it lands on a little table. And from that table, you see exactly two little beams of light will arc across the room to different points on the both aiming at little books. Yeah, so if you're looking for the term wordstone, it should show up in those two books. That's weird. Most of the time, like when you're looking for stuff, it shows up in a lot of books, and we have to go gather a bunch of stuff and then like go read through. That's not a lot, only two.
Well, let's just hope the information that I need is in one of these two books. Is
Yeah,
there?
the
I
gentleman.
could check
Oh,
these
yes, let's
books out.
hope indeed. Um,
Oh,
um,
oh, you're still here.
the librarian. Well, we don't really let people check books out. Because this is kind of the only repository of knowledge that exists. Because Umlaut doesn't have a library, and Cove City, oh god, they don't have a library either. They're a bunch of stupid people. But no, so we kind of protect what we have, so we don't let people take the books out. They can be damaged. And
Hmm.
have you ever been
Yeah.
to the library before?
No, I've kind of been in a monastery type of ordeal, so this is. But I'm very knowledgeable, and I do enjoy reading. So this
We
is.
have a monastery in Astra.
Oh,
That's a good question.
We don't.
I mean, it's not really, but it's just a little temple with fellow monks. That's
Oh,
all.
okay. You're one of those. Okay, I got you. Well, yeah, those two books. You better hurry because the spell only lasts for a few minutes.
Okay. Elderly man that I'm sure I've never met before. May I use your assistance once more?
Cool.
Into the research that I'm currently investigating. I mean, you were so kind to know that the word was just one word and not two. So I figured you were probably useful.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the research for you, darling. That's not how this works at all. You have to do things
Oh,
yourself.
okay, okay. And then I would just wave my hand and get the books, and I will start to read.
Yeah.
I would find a place, sit down in my own little corner, and start the process.
Okay. While you're reading, we'll get back to do exactly what that is, but do me a favor. Give
Mhm.
me a investigation check or a history check, your choice. And keep that number in mind. I'll ask you for that number when we come back to you.
Okay.
Raylith and Mimi and Aggie, you guys are off helping, are heading off to help Torch. You guys approach the kind of government complex, which is very similar to the Guardian complex, the Guardian Core complex, which is like a series of little buildings that all have different things. Some of them specifically relate to like requests for materials and clothes and things like that that people need. One of these buildings are kind of dedicated to requests for rations and ration class changes and stuff like that, saying, hey, you know, I've done a better job this week. Do you think I can get more rations? That kind of thing. And they both kind of like have lines in front of them of people getting ready to make their requests for the day. And there is one very large building in the back. It's kind of like a warehouse. It's just a big open building where people are bringing in like carts and wheelbarrows of food, crops and stuff that were grown overnight, corns and grains and you know, some meat and stuff like that's been slaughtered this morning, all kinds of stuff, just bringing it all into this warehouse and stuff where there's these little crates. And you would know these crates very well. They're very simple for what they are, but they'll pack these crates and stuff with rations and food, and then the city guard and yourselves this morning will carry these crates out to the residential district, hand them out to the people that need them. You do see Torch kind of at the table on one end of the warehouse and stuff, kind of helping double check over lists and go over things and helping out the few people who are kind of running the show here. Not necessarily running the show herself, but just helping out and double checking numbers, stuff like that. What do?
Wait, who volunteered us to do this?
I shouldn't get to helping. I'm going to kind of be actively listening at what's happening around us, kind of getting an idea of what's happening in town.
What's happening in town? What specifically kind of are you listening out for? Like,
Do I have an
give me
idea of
some
where?
keywords that you kind of be looking
Okay.
for here.
So, do I see, or is there a cluster of like kind of noticeably higher up people around?
Higher up is a loose term here. There are
So,
people who are kind of, I would say I wouldn't say necessarily in control. There are people who are organizing, but most people work together here. The only people that are kind of like higher, you know, class wise or statistical wise would be like members of the council. the High Council or the Lower Council, and they're not here. They would be in a different building in the Guardian Complex, kind of doing their politicking things or messing around with policies and stuff like that. They don't necessarily involve themselves with the day-to-day distribution of supplies, which is what Torch is doing here.
Okay. Then listening out for anything that seems to be amiss past Rift's opening. Um, things that are a bit out of the ordinary, that they're like, hey, this is a bit of a weird thing that's been happening.
I think the only weird thing you would hear, a lot of people are talking about Arthur, talking about him not making out of the most recent rift the day before, or 2 days before at this point. It's pretty big news. Arthur was very well respected, very well known in the Guardian Corps, and very well known amongst some of the people. He was very friendly with a lot of people. He often took his meals at other people's houses and stuff like that, had dinners with families and stuff, and people are kind of talking about that. You would hear conversations like, he came over one time, and when he did, he brought a gift for my child, like a toy that he managed to carve from wood from another world, and stuff like that, like different kind of things along those lines, mostly just like reminiscing memories or talking about different stories of things he did, or like legends about how he was the only survivor from another rift at some point, or something like that. And mostly how it's sad that he's gone now, and most people are kind of saying the same things along the lines of like, well, like at least he saved the city when he did. The rift was closed, like, he's a hero, that kind of thing. And that would probably be a lot of the talk of the day. Because it's big news.
Yeah. Okay. Then while keeping an eye on Aggie, I'm gonna kind of walk around and to some of the people, just kind of be like, have any of y'all heard of something called a world stone? I heard it in passing, and it's stuck with me.
Give me a investigation check. Keep that number in mind, and we'll come back to you in a second. Raylith, Aggie, what are you guys doing?
I think Raylith would also be kind of like listening out for like the rifts and stuff within conversation. If anyone said any more had opened recently, if anyone's talking about us specifically, like exactly how it looked when we came back, like if there was another kind of rift open, like how are they perceiving us as well, kind of like those things are what
that is an interesting thing. You would you would probably find out that like your names aren't really mentioned. That he rescued, like the news would be out and stuff that he rescued a group of recruits, and that would be a thing. But like as to who those recruits are and stuff, they don't really specify. It's just, hey, he saved some newbies, that kind of thing. The talk is more on Arthur than you. Does that make sense? Okay. And it's more about his exploits during that particular adventure than yours. And that seems to be what most people are talking about, at least at this point.
Okay.
Aggie.
There are two things I want to do.
Okay.
And one could probably derail a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go for option 2. I want to look around the crowd and find some people who are playing some cards.
People who are playing some cards. I don't think there would be anybody here playing cards. This is a mostly work-centric thing. It's first thing in the morning, so like a break time would probably still be some time off. And like the work is kind of just getting started from the day. So I think most people are pretty focused on what they're doing. Like they're starting to, like divvy up things and taking them to marked crates and stuff like that. Or, to be distributed. don't think anybody's taking a break and playing cards around here. Not right this second.
All right, well, we'll stealth of the way then. Sneak away.
Stealth away.
Do I gotta roll for that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I said I was keeping an eye
I
on him.
almost feel like with the colors on his fucking cloak that we should have advantage on finding him in a crowd. I'm just saying.
He actually has advantage on
Almost.
stealth. Literally just hiding behind another person. So it's a thing because he's so short.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me a stealth check and give me 2 perception checks.
Do I get advantage with stealth then?
Do you not?
Wait,
Is that not
2
what the
perception?
like small stature thing?
I have advantage. I have advantage when I'm hiding in behind. Hold on.
Why 2?
it's-
You take the hide action even when you're obscured only by a creature that's at least one size larger than you.
Okay, so you don't get
20.
advantage for it. Okay, I thought you got advantage for it. It's 1 from each of you. 1 from Raylith and 1 from
Okay,
you.
okay.
One from both of us. Okay.
Yep.
20.
20. Okay.
Yet.
That's a nat 20 for a 23.
23. I'm assuming
12.
Aggie is much lower than that. Yeah. So you do see
12.
Aggie trying to sneak off. It
I
doesn't
wasted
work.
a 20 on Aggie check. I'm upset.
I am
Um,
just gonna go over there real well. I'm gonna say, Raylith, will you Raylith, will you go with that one? We don't need him stirring up any trouble, please.
Last time I checked, you signed up to be the babysitter. You literally hauled him over here.
Okay, well I'm asking questions. Do you want to bring him this way?
I'm smaller than him currently. Would you like me to become 8 feet tall to carry him over here? For 1 whole minute? No.
Aggie be like, hell yeah.
We're okay, we're going back to tote bag mode.
Just put him on. Yep, keep him that way.
Aggie
Just
Just
assuming
tie
the
him.
position.
Tie him to you. Like one of those new, the new mothers who like tie the kid around them while they're walking
Don't.
around and stuff, so they keep him.
Give him a
Just do that to
leash.
him.
That's not a bad idea. All right, Aggie, would you prefer the leash or would you prefer the tote method?
Get away from me, you devil woman! I'm out of here. And I'll try to run away. Very unsuccessfully.
As a DM, knowing Mowgli is Mowgli and knowing that his mission will be at times to derail my shit as much as possible, yeah, please give him a leash. Like both as a player and as a character.
Hey, I'm just gonna let you know right now, Mimi Doe, I am gonna be real bad at helping you haul and shit. I am not a very strong individual. I'll say on a scale of like 1 to 20, I'm about an 8.
Look, do you want her
Hey.
leash or mine? Because mine's gonna hurt.
I do 0 unarmed strike damage. Literally 0. 0.
Do I see any
So I will
rope
try to
nearby?
punch you, and it'll just be like, eh.
You see any what?
Do I see any rope nearby?
No, probably not here. I don't think there would
Very
be
well.
a need for rope. Let's detract from this for just a second. Kind of wrapping up, and I have a thing I want to do. Steven, what was your investigation or history check, and which one did you roll?
17 for investigation.
17 for investigation. Okay. You go to reading these books. You get most of the way through the first one, and you do find the term World Stone, but it's mentioned in a context where it's really hard to kind of pick out exactly what the details mean. It talks about the city of Umlaut, and it talks about a kind of mineral that they found at some point that the king at the time, and this was probably 1,000 or more years ago, kind of thing, named it World Stone because it was so much stronger than other types of stones and minerals and stuff that they had found at that point. And it was originally named World Stone, but as it kind of spread and they began using it to make things, it eventually changed its name to Mithril instead. And that's kind of a thing where it's like, okay, so they called it one thing, but like it eventually got renamed, and you don't think that's exactly what you're looking for. The other book, as you get most of the way into it, is a fictional novel, story, a legend, as it were, an adventure tale about a group of heroes who rise up to defeat a great evil. And you're with the 17, like you're doing okay, and you're kind of getting into it. It's kind of long, and it rambles on with a lot of world building for a world that isn't this world, and it's kind of like trying to get real deep into, say, like a Brandon Sanderson novel that's like 900 pages, and you're just looking for one chapter, so you're kind of scrolling back and forth, trying to do what you do. But you do eventually find a mention near the end of the book, right before they face off against the big villain, of them finding a world stone. Now, the description of this world stone mentions several things. It mentions that it contains a very powerful energy. That energy is something they could use to defeat this great villain that they're going up against, and so on and so forth. And it talks about their powers that let things grow, and how the stone contains the very power of life itself. And it's this whole like big heroic thing about, you know, them using the power of the light to defeat the power of darkness. And it's very, you know, kind of standard stuff for the world stone. But then you realize at one point, near the end of the book, this is actually the second book in a series. And you think to yourself, okay, well, maybe there's something in the first book. So you pick up the first book and you go through it. And in the first book, they don't call it a world stone. Instead, they mention it as a divinity seed. And they eventually changed the name to world stone later on because of connotations. But you get to the point where you realize that the world stone and the divinity seed are the same thing. And that divinity seed is a very seed of life placed on a world and allowed to grow, to seed and spread life itself across the world, placed by the gods. And that's the definition that you kind of get in that book. And as you kind of get to that point, this older gentleman with kind of slicked back hair, salt and pepper gray, sits down across from you, places their elbow on the table and says, "Aha. Step 1 is down."
Seems like it.
It's not entirely correct, but there's enough there that I can talk to you about it at least.
Okay. Go on.
And what do you want to know? What does the book not tell you?
So understanding very little, at least what the book tells me, it's used to spread life.
It
across
was
the
its
world.
original purpose, yes.
If that was the original purpose, what is the purpose of it now?
It's power. A battery, you could call it.
What kind of power does it contain if it's no longer about spreading life and to see and grow in the world?
That's very simple, dear. It's the power of the gods. Those beyond our understanding, those beyond even the realms that we travel together. The gods.
These are in a fantasy book, but it doesn't provide any information on where they were taking place.
No, you're correct, it doesn't. And there will be more searching, more research, more talking and trying to figure out exactly where it is you're supposed to go to find it. But the journey isn't perhaps more important than the destination in a lot of cases. But let me ask you a question. Were you to receive the power of a god, what would you do with it?
spread peace.
Peace. What if that peace
Tranquility.
required other things? Sometimes, in order to spread peace, you need to carry the biggest stick, if you catch my meaning. Would you be against that?
I do carry a big stick, and then I take out my quarterstaff.
So you're not against the idea of spreading peace through, say, violence, if necessary?
How does violence necessary equal to peace if I have the power of the gods?
Well, you would smite your dissenters. Make it so that no one had the power to stand above you, and so that your rule is law.
So you want me to be a dictator?
In as many words, not asking you if you want to, would you? If it was necessary to spread the peace that you so desire.
Is it peace that I will be spreading or fear?
Would they not be considered the same thing?
Absolutely not. People should not fear to live or fear to do something wrong. Peace is everyone coming together in harmony where everyone gets along. There's nothing to worry about. But if you add fear to the mix, it's not genuine. And fear could lead to a rebellion because fear could lead to hatred. Fear could lead people to have a fight or flight moment when they no longer want to live in fear.
A naive view on things, at least from my perspective. Let me ask you a second question then.
Sure.
If there was a god who used this fear, this method of doing things to rule the world, rule all worlds, and you received the power of the gods, would you oppose them? Would you use the power of a god to kill a god? And that's where we're going to end our session.
I didn't even get to use my check.
We'll come back to it. Just remember what it is.
Fuck.
But that's where we're going to end our session for now. We are going
Accidentally
to...
just wrote erection. Instead of perception, I'm sorry.
Did you accidentally write erection?
So I was writing perception and I hit brackets in place of certain letters and it looked like erection.
So
Who's the horny one now, huh?
right. So that's where we're going to end our session for now. Please remember, guys, just because the episode is over doesn't mean the show is ending. We're going to take a small break, go get something to drink, maybe a snack, use the bathroom and stuff. And most of us will be back momentarily. We'll talk about the episode. We'll answer some questions if anybody had any, that kind of thing. And we'll, kind of talk and chat, thank our followers and stuff like that. So we'll see you all very shortly. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Until then, take care of yourself as well. Go get a drink, go get a snack, all that stuff.
Go
We'll
pee.
be right back. See you guys in a few minutes. Bye bye. We are back. I'm not using the standard podcast stream because Sammy's not going to be here for this particular thing, so you guys get to look at a very small version for a while. You won't see everybody else, but Steven, Mowgli, and Courtney are all here. Say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Wait,
So,
Min looks like Meg from Hercules?
yeah, that's kind of how I imagined her. It's
Brother.
like Meg from Hercules, but like with a red dress and black hair instead of like kind of like Gal Gadot or something. Yeah, very hot, very gorgeous.
Be killed.
Yeah, she is.
Oh no.
She's going to be a problem, and she's going to make it everybody else's problem. That's the idea. But yeah, so episode 2 is done. I mean, I want while the cast is here, I kind of want you guys' opinions on it. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Did you have any questions or things that I didn't explain enough or anything like that? Let's talk about the episode, and then we'll open up and give chat some chance to ask some questions that they might have and stuff like that as well. So, what up? Well, you know what I mean? Like, what'd you guys think?
Wait, what?
You're talking to us, or are you talking to?
Yeah, I'm talking.
Or
Well,
talking to chat?
both, but I'll you specifically now, and then I'll answer chat in a second.
I have 3 pages of notes from this session. I just need you to know that I was writing so crazily during this.
Okay. Give us the most interesting.
I'm
Cliff
not giving
notes.
you. I'm not giving you 3 pages of notes. Honestly, I think like at least a paragraph is just Tomas. So.
Fair. Yeah, Tomas was a fun character.
Love Tomas.
I was hanging out, and I was like, okay, so I was like, yo, I want to do. So I punched him in the gonads, and so I made a whole character around punching him in the gonads. I thought it'd be fucking hilarious.
I'll post my shitty notes in the stuff later.
He was definitely the star.
Yeah, he definitely
I
stole
did
the
write a
scene.
whole lot of notes because I was in it with Tobas. I was just right there in the zone, just thinking of the little gnome, just going to town on some gonads.
Yeah, that is one of the funnest parts about D&D is like getting into the headspace and like living in the scene, and then realizing that you didn't write any notes, so then you have to go back and like, okay, so this is what happened.
That's the best part about having like this recorded though, like this is if you miss something, you can literally just be like, all right, so it was about in here, and now I just need these details. It's like I actually have a spot where you were describing Amaya, and I got like 1 word of that because something else was going on, like that you were doing. I forget what was happening. Might have been the cat, but something was happening around like 12 minutes, and I was like, so I just put go back for details. 12 minutes.
Hey,
Nice.
this was also just like I played with you guys for like 2 years, and this was like the most horniest game we've ever played.
Oh yeah, by far. This
We have a
is
whole
by
different
far.
group. I have a whole different group. We have 1 different person.
I know, like it just got super
All
horny
you had to do
very
was play a
quickly.
bard, apparently.
I was gonna say it's because you're playing a bard. Like you're a big part of that, and Steven is just feeding off your energy.
Yeah, he is.
And then there's Sammy. Oh no, she's hot.
Look, it happens.
Everybody.
Like you have to make the villains hot. That's how it works. Like your D&D villain has to be hot.
You have to be hot.
Meanwhile, I'm just delusional because I'm like, I don't see it.
Have you never watched Hercules?
No,
Does
I know
Meg
who the
not give
character-
you like tingly feelings in your loins? Because
Yeah, but I'm a monk, so
okay, fair. So you're deep in your character's headspace. All right, I got you.
yes.
Excuse me, Ever didn't get one? I think Ever at least made 1 sus comment. Nox sus counter 2. Shane is at 1. Mowgli like 3. IDK.
Mowgli, half the episode.
That's the life of a bard. So yeah,
I can't sleep with any dragons because there are no dragons.
yet.
Yeah.
So
They bad.
So let's let me ask this then. So I really designed this episode to be kind of very role play heavy, right? Because I wanted to give you guys the opportunity and stuff to get into like the headspace of your character to really flesh them out. Because the first episode we didn't really have a lot of time to do that. It was back to back action. It was fight scene. It was chasing Arthur. It was Arthur getting annihilated. It was the very tense situation about making a deal with men and stuff like that. Well, I didn't really give you a lot of time to get into your headspace so much as it was kind of mechanics heavy and wondering about your different abilities and stuff. This one, I wanted it to be mostly role play so you can kind of figure out your character's personalities and really start setting that stuff up. Do you feel that was effective? Do you feel like you got into your character's headspace during this? Do you feel like you know who they are and how you're going to set them up and play them and stuff? Did that help at all?
I feel like I'm fighting with myself on Raylith because I tend to play the very caring, like tries to be overly nice character a lot. And I feel like Raylith is more focused on the core necessarily than like feelings in this one. So I'm trying to leave the okay, hey, she's feeling really bad. I should try everything I can to be super supportive to be like, okay, but how does this affect this? And it's hard to separate those two mindsets.
Yeah, it's
But
weird.
like, so her not knowing how to deal with and not know how to support, I feel like it's a little bit at least toward that. But yeah, no, I was like,
it's funny because like that caring thing that you do with all of your characters, I would say, is a bit of self-insertion, which happens a lot in D&D, right? Like it's a big part of you that's coming out in your characters.
It's hard to push that one down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like how does it feel pushing part of yourself out to play a different type of character? Like how does that work?
I think I've only ever done that like once or twice where like they didn't. I think the only other person like that character that I've played that didn't immediately care for like others was Emma. And Emma kind of had that like high and mighty kind of vibe. So it was like separate than it was different. But like this is close but not different, and that's what makes it hard to not slide into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Aggie then? Because you're definitely starting to show a lot of your
Gremlin.
So I came up with a lot of like Aggie's backstory in tandem with Steven and his character Zen. And like coming up with Aggie, I knew that Aggie needed like supervision because you will just go off the rails very, very quickly. And I'm very happy that happened in this episode because things went derailed very, very quickly.
Yeah. I am genuinely worried for Aggie because you are already starting, and I'm like, boy, you. Because it's a thing. Because it's a thing. Like, okay, so when it comes to D&D, it may be one of those things where, like, okay, given this situation, I don't necessarily know that I would kill Aggie, right? Like, I don't know if I would have Boreal annihilate his ass or anything like that. But like, Boreal. Teach him a lesson. Boreal very well may kick you out of the Guardian Corps, and if that happens, I don't know that the character of Aggie could continue to contribute to the story because the Guardian Corps is such a central, complex part of it right now. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm going to kill you. Like, I'm not threatening to kill you, but you might want to roll a backup character, my guy, just in case, because depending on how off the rails you go, like.
Well, the other thing with like Aggie is he doesn't much care for authority or doesn't really like see much in authority, and authority people coming up and like getting in your face, it's kind of like, what are you gonna do? Like, we're stuck in the same place. There's not much I can do. The worst thing you can do is send me off into a rift and I die. Like, or I get banished, or I don't have to, or I get kicked out the Guardians. Like, there's not much you can do that already makes kind of a shitty situation shittier. But also, we just need someone to just like be a little chaos gremlin.
Facts.
You're-
It's
Got it.
it's
You nailed it.
yeah, you're definitely well on the track there. It's interesting, because you mentioned like, okay, so there's no way to really make a shitty situation shittier. Looking at this, and it's funny looking at the viewpoints between two different characters here. So we talked about Raylith, we've talked about Aggie. Aggie views being in the Guardian Corps as a shitty situation because you're here for one purpose and stuff. Whereas we have Raylith, this is not a shitty situation for her. This is a dream come true kind of situation. This is what
This
she's
is a
always
dream come
wanted to
true.
do.
This is helping her family with like rations and stuff because like people who are in the Corps get more rations and your family get more too. So like she's feeling like this is like such a fucking honor, and then Aggie's just over here like shitting on everything that she cares about. She's like, this motherfucker.
It's really funny looking at the two different viewpoints of the two different characters for the same situation and have them be polar opposites. You know what I mean? That's funny to me that you could both view the exact same thing in two completely different ways. And I wanted to bring that up because I think there's going to be some conflict between you two at some point.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just going to call that here.
We normally have some conflict with me and somebody, don't we?
Yeah, facts. What about Zen? Because Zen has been. It's funny because Steven, of all the people, I did not expect you to be the one to try to push story by going straight to the library and stuff. I figured you would kind of fade into the background or do the role playing thing. Like what's Zen doing? How is he doing in this this situation? And do you think you got into his headspace?
The headspace is definitely there when it comes to certain things, but to find the personality, I'm still looking. But when it comes to Aggie, I'm all in, and I would do anything to back him up, even knowing he's wrong. I will let him know he's wrong, but I won't let any harm come his way. Just like in the moments where we just woke up and then everybody started to pretty much gang up on him, and I have to speak up because that's not something Zen would ever allow.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also you can kind of tell with like Zin and Aggie that Aggie brings out a personality trait in Zin that you can kind of tell he kind of squashed down through going through the monastery and being a monk, but very quickly like that personality of being a duo chaos gremlin kind of sprouts up.
Yeah, I do think Zen and Aggie have a particular kind of bromance going on here.
Not the bromance. Sorry, Taba.
Like we were talking about characters being self insertions, and I think there's something. Anyway, we'll see. But yeah, so enough from us. Let's open it up to chat a little bit. I know Callus said he had a question specifically regarding Min. Does anybody else have any questions about the characters or like the game itself? How we're playing it and what we're doing with it and stuff like that. Any of that stuff, by all means, bring it in. Let me know. Tava says that's okay. I can share. Yeah, Callus, what's your question, bud? This is the best part. I'm just kind of sitting here going.
I mean, there's a delay, so you kind of have to wait.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny.
Also, there's literally a delay.
So I was like on the podcast, I was like, we need to fill this dead air. We need to fill this dead air. We need to fill this, like just silence. Like my brain's going, please no. Yeah, but
Oh, we're waiting for the question.
So from what I can gather, Min is supposed to be the big bad. Yeah, found in the rift. Now she's out of the rift and still helping the team in some manner. Oh, you're good.
You missed the first episode.
So
Definitely recommend checking that out for her.
so is Min the big bad? Is she supposed to be the big bad? That answer, I'm not going to answer. Because it's maybe, maybe not. There are other things at play. She has a goal that will come out at some point in the future that I kind of teased at this. Maybe she's not. Maybe she is a good guy going about doing things in a very ungood guy like way. Or maybe she is the big bad. Maybe she will turn into the big bad. Questions, spoilers for how things will go and stuff. But keep in mind that I can also answer that question one way now. And because of the nature of D&D, because of the way the story evolves, it could change. I could tell you, yeah, she's the big bad guy, and she's gonna, be the final fight and the big thing. But that might not be the case. The story may change time to time and go into something different. So, that's just how Dungeons and Dragons works. But yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna answer that. I will say that right now she is both antagonistic, potentially, especially if you watch the first episode and how she convinced, I guess, everyone to do the deal, and then what she says, stuff like that. Is it possible for you guys to put your characters' names along with your real life names? I keep forgetting your character's name until someone's mentioned. We can. I tried to do that though. And the problem is the way that we do the let me swap back to the podcast. This is going to be really big. Don't worry about it. The problem is based on our the space that we have for stuff right here. I could do it, but the problem is I would have to make the text kind of small, and then you can't really read it that well. We did try that, but like Sammy in particular, especially because her characters like Mimi Do, Courtney, and Raylith and stuff, it doesn't really fit with us also having the character art and stuff like that up there. Yeah, don't worry about the camera part. The camera part is because she's not in the call and stuff. But the thing is, it makes it kind of, it doesn't look very good, and looking, like the presentation is half the battle here. I think we decided against it, but I will say this, that over time, you'll get used to the characters, right? You've only known these guys for 2 sessions. And so, it's going to take some getting time and take some getting used to stuff. I think in game, we will say the characters' names a lot more often than we'll say our names. So over time, you'll get used to the characters.
Would it be more helpful to have the character's name instead of the player's name?
That's what I was thinking too, because most of the
So
time
instead of like Courtney, Sammy, Steven, Mowgli, it's Raylith, Mimi Do, Zin, Aggie.
I thought about doing that too, but I wanted to give you guys like the credit and stuff that you deserve, and have them like know who you are as a player. We could do that. I could change it to be characters if everybody agrees with that. I just wanted people to know who you are, as well. You know what I mean? Like, because you guys are a part of this. It's not just me doing the thing. So, that way they can say, "Oh, I love Mowgli's character" or something like that. Especially because when we go on to move different characters and stuff like that for other campaigns or whatever, be a little bit different too. But yeah, if you guys want to do that, we could do that. I'm not totally against it. So
yeah, we could swap that.
They
it would help, especially.
They are images. So I can move. They are actual text.
Oh no, I'm floating. I can't fly.
They are images and stuff that I move around on the thing. So yeah, but we'll play around with it. We'll see what we can do. No promises for like next session. We'll see what happens. I'll play around with it and see what I can make happen.
What are the things we were discussing in between like this after show and like the real game? Was we were discussing the why Torch is a tiefling if both her parents are one's a human, one's an elf?
Yeah. So this kind of goes back to like actual D&D lore. The way it works is like in Dungeons and Dragons, if at some point somebody makes a deal with a fiend, right? A devil or demon or something like that, and they make a deal, then they have a chance for their kids to also be tieflings, right? And in Descent into Avernus, it's kind of explored that deal could be made thousands of years in the past, right? And there's always a chance that one of those ancestors and stuff, that kind of genealogy will still happen, right? They basically become part fiend. So at some point way back in the history, some ancestor somewhere made a deal with a fiend, and now Torch is a tiefling. It happens. Kind of like I consider it like a recessive gene in genetics and stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that Arthur or that Amaya has made a deal with a fiend, but one of their ancestors probably did somewhere back in time, right? And it just happens. So, like, tieflings just kind of show up in D&D lore.
I was just like, oh, she's adopted. Like,
yeah, that could be it, but no, it's not. I very much want to imply that Arthur and Amaya were a thing.
In a lot of like D&D
reasons.
settings, tieflings kind of have a negative connotation with like their origin, because fiends, evil, nine hells. How are fiends viewed in Dira? In Demira.
In Demira.
In Demira.
Yeah, so fiends probably bad, right? Like, fiends not great. Tieflings are just tieflings. They didn't necessarily choose to be born, and it's no fault of their own that they look the way they do. And most people accept them. It's just a part of life, right? They don't really, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there's no like racism, either mild or overt, really, for tieflings. They're just people. So you guys want to see? We got character sheets over here.
oh.
Are you going to show character sheets?
No, I'm not going to show the character. It was on my screen because I swapped back to the other thing.
Show Steven's busted ass character stats.
Absolutely nuts.
Always.
Man has crazy luck with the dice. That's just how it works. So yeah, any other questions about the stream, about the episode, about the lore, anything else like that? Or just observations, statements.
I thought it was great to know that men can, what's the word? Not shapeshift, but take on other.
That's shapeshift.
Okay.
I think you're more looking for something like the word possession rather than shapeshift. I think that's what you're trying to get across. Can you talk in Australian for the rest of the week? Nah, mate. Not how we do things around here.
Okay, so these wasn't just like, these were actual people, and she just possessed them.
There's more to it that you'll probably have to ask her.
Okay.
That just means we have to
trying to get out when freaking Mimi's just like, oh no, don't worry about it. It's like,
This just means we have to go back to the first Rift world and find Meg.
Find Meg?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about finding the body. Like. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Fun hot chick.
That in particular would be interesting because I don't think this is really a spoiler. I think that's what you saw the first time you saw her is her true form. Like that's her. And anywhere outside of Indemira, that's probably what you'll see her as. Probably. I make no promises, but probably. Callus says, just for some thoughts on my end, what are the areas inside rifts like? We explored this in the very first episode, but rifts aren't necessarily like a pocket space or anything. They're other worlds. And they can be very, very wildly different depending on which world they go to. In the first rift they went into. It was like a very forested area, and had some like weird magic stuff going on that they didn't really explore. But it also had like 2 suns and stuff like that. Just other worlds, other, universes, basically.
Also, time goes differently. I think we mentioned that in this episode, but like time can go completely different. I do have a question because you mentioned something that kind of threw me off a little bit in this one, and I'm wondering if it's like me having heard it wrong. So in the first episode, I think you said that Arthur told us that like when we leave the rift, time will be as normal. But then when we left the rift, I think you said it was like 6 hours later.
I did, yeah.
Is it because of how we left the rift?
Potentially. Different mechanics. Remember, you guys didn't leave through the same rift that you entered. It's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm already
Okay,
setting stuff
okay.
up. I already got stuff going. Worry about it.
Look,
yeah,
don't make
no.
me
Good catch.
freaking do the fucking
Philosopher's
Philosopher's
Stone.
Stone
Yeah.
theory right here, right now.
Oh god, no, it's Terra all over again. No, trust me, you're fine. Good catch on that. Keep in mind, as a DM, I will often lie to you about things, because I will tell you things how you see it, not necessarily the way things are. You know what I mean? So it plays around with different type stuff. Yeah, basically, Callus. Things are a little bit weird depending on different things. Because time passes differently on different worlds. And we talked about that on the first part of this episode and stuff, that when they came back, their bodies had to like kind of catch up a little bit. That's why they were kind of thrown unconscious, because temporal magic, you don't really mess around with that. So never know what questions to ask, so I just listen. That's fine, Bard. You can also just make comments. You could just be like, yo, I loved this part, or this was cool and stuff, and give us the opportunity to talk about it. It's also fun.
I can't wait to go to a Rift world that is the exact opposite, where it's like 5 minutes there is like 5 months in our world. And we go through, and it's like, yeah, we were gone for like an hour. It's like, you were gone for 3 months. Can't wait for that to happen.
Spoilers. I can't wait for you guys to go to some wildly different worlds. So the reason I made the first world be like it is because I was like, so we're just going to make it kind of, we're going to make it a little bit different, so you're in a different world where, like, oh god, there's 2 suns. Wait until you jump into a sci-fi world. Or wait until we jump into Eberron. You know what I mean? Like,
don't tease me like that, man. You know my love for Eberron.
I know. But wait until we jump into an Eberron adjacent world, or wait until we jump into, like I said, like a sci-fi realm, where you guys have to do an adventure or something like that, or whatever, for a little bit. There's a lot of things I can do with the idea of rifts in different worlds, and I do plan on exploring a ton of different things. I think it would be pretty fun.
Want new game mechanics, and we're having to close shit in rifts. That's what you want.
Space Jammer will definitely show up at some point. I love sci-fi shit, so I am all here for it.
That's Spelljammer, not Space Jammer.
It's Spelljammer.
Space Jammer. My brain went to Bugs Bunny. Playing basketball. Space Jam.
Look, Space Jammer works fine. Okay, like that's.
I feel like the Space Jammer world, Aggie would just never leave because he basically found home.
Yeah.
Palace asked, weird question, but how are worlds decided between rifts?
By me. Because, I'm the DM, so I control how things work. It's basically just me going, this would be pretty fun. And making it a different world. There will be worlds that specifically reference official realms in D&D, so the concept of different worlds that are kind of layered on top of each other that you can find your way in between does exist in official D&D lore. You have like the mortal realm, and then you have stuff like the Fey realm and the Shadowfell, and kind of so on and so forth. These worlds will make appearances in this game at some point, but there will be many other worlds that are just places I've created. specifically for stuff. Do you roll a D100? No. I'm a very...
I have 2 of those now.
We do. I'm a very... trying to think of the word. I like control as a DM. And I will typically know what the next rift they're going into is going to be. I will have designed it ahead of time. So I'll know exactly what's going on. Because I very much like to... for example, the first area, the 3 encounters they could do was wolves, bears, and then the Draconian Dreadnought. The Draconian Dreadnought was special because that was from men. But wolves and bears and stuff like that, I was like, okay, it's a forested area, and I want it to be kind of plain and not necessarily underwhelming, but something that they could acclimate to very easily. So I was like, I will design this campaign with like wolves and bears. Another question, unless something comes up, how long do y'all plan to go with this campaign? Like over 50 sessions? It depends. A lot of it depends on the story and how it evolves and stuff like that. It could be 50 sessions. It could be something closer to 30 or something like that. It could be, like 4.5 years. It really depends on a lot of things. It also depends on how much you guys like it. So we may, extend the story, and even after this particular story is beaten, it is a very popular thing to continue with those characters for a different campaign, or to set another campaign in the same world and stuff like that. Unless everybody dies. If we ever TPK, like, I'm probably just going to move on to a different game at some point. I'm going to be honest. I don't like trying to do the whole... Yeah, I don't like the whole, like, trying to continue. It might be a sad ending, and it might be a... What's the word I'm looking for here? Like an unsatisfying ending. But as far as I'm concerned, the story ends. And it may not be the ending that everyone wants to have, but that story is done. You know what I mean? And I like it when a story has an ending, like a fair stuff. I don't want to continue it and try to stretch it out and stuff more than it needs to be. So, kind of like fucking Supernatural should have ended at season 5, and then you have like fucking 6-7 more seasons of just weird shit that doesn't make sense and counteracts everything from the first season, stuff like that. Like, I don't like that. I don't want that to happen. So, that's the best way to answer that question, I think. Take him to Underdark Drow Society. We might head on to Minza Brands and somewhere and deal with some Driders. Who knows?
You're not going to put Driders in the game.
Probably fucking not. I really don't like Driders.
I feel like we're safe mostly from spider-like creatures.
Like, I was like freaking out when I had to play a fucking spider dragon from fucking Eve of Ruin. Because that shit's terrifying. All right.
We never fought that, did we?
No, y'all managed to avoid it. Y'all, I think, sacrificed the goo guy to it.
Man, that was a cool monster.
Yeah, no, it's really fun.
That's when you were talking about like you prepping your DM stuff and just liking control. I think that's just kind of fascinating because when I DM, I rely heavily on random generators. Like, I keep pushing on you random books on like random generation for like NPCs or monsters and all that. You're like, nah. I like to find things that look fun. I'm just like, bring on the random, bring on the chaos.
Yeah, it is interesting looking at people's like different DMing styles and stuff. Because like I said, I like a more tightly focused, more tightly controlled kind of story. You know what I mean? I don't want things because I am decent at improv. I can work within a situation and work to move things along and stuff. But to me, at least, the story comes first, right? And I prefer that story to be more tightly focused and not have a bunch of loose ends and stuff or whatever, because that kind of irritates me when I read other stories or watch other campaigns or stuff like that, where that happens. And it's just like, that's not what I want. You know what I mean? But the whole thing with like random generators and chaotic situations and stuff, if that's the way you want to run your game, by all means, you know what I mean? Do it. Like, if that's where you thrive in your element, then yeah, it can be fun. And for people who enjoy that, it's great. Just not my thing. but you can have wildly different D&D campaigns because of that, right? Like you could do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. It's fun sometimes.
Yeah. Hell, we could take any official module, take anything like, say, Curse of Strahd, right? Probably the most iconic Dungeons & Dragons 5e module out
I
there.
will one day fucking complete that god dang thing.
Right.
One day.
You can take that module and have 5 different DMs run it and have 5 wildly different games all using the exact same source material. Like, it's crazy. That's part of why I love D&D, though. It's because there's so much variety. You can play Curse of Strahd 7 times, and it be completely different every time. So
I think I'm at 7. I'm at like
pretty close.
somewhere
Yeah.
between 5 and 7.
We will finish Curse of Strahd one day.
Right.
Kind of want to try DMing someday. Just do it. Just get out there and run a game. You start playing games. It's a really great website, and run your games at free and tell people you're starting DM, and people will join, and then you run games. The way it works.
Or even just get like a small adventure and run it with like 3 or 4 people.
Just go buy the starter set. Go to a local game store and just be like, yo, anybody want to join a game? Give me some phone numbers and set it up at a table. You don't even have to do it online and stuff if you don't want to. So
We found random people online to do home games a while back. Had a
I was
dude
one of those
driving,
random
like,
people.
An hour. Well, no,
no,
I mean
we did
like
home games.
in person home
we
games.
were on Facebook.
We were on Facebook
Yeah, but-
gathering people in our home.
I
Don't do
met
that,
you
kids.
guys through Start Playing Games. Like out of like the entire group, I didn't know you guys before playing D&D, and I'm mostly the only one who wasn't taught D&D by Shane.
Yeah, fair actually.
Fair.
You were technically the wild card in this situation because I didn't drag
Yeah.
you into this. You were already in, but yeah, that is a thing. All right. So we've been going for a while on the bonus action here. It is almost 10:45. Need the confidence to do something like that. So here's the thing, Alice. You can stand on a ledge forever, but you're never gonna make it anywhere until you jump. Like you're just do it. Just take that first step, and every other one gets easier. It's all about momentum. But you have to take that first step. Like.
You'll fall before you fly, but don't let it overwhelm you. Just keep trying and learn from your mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. Like, even Shane does, like, he was doing for Terra, for example. He was making up mechanics, and he was like, I don't like when it's just hit until it's dead kind of a thing, for his enemies and for his big, like, bads. So he was like, okay, I'm going to try to put in video game mechanics. And some of them worked really cool. Some of them almost bricked and wiped the party.
Yep, that did happen.
Like, you're gonna learn as you go, and you can adjust to stuff. Like, if the enemies are going down too fast or you made it too easy, tack on some health. Like, add on some extra health. Or I know one DM who, I don't know that I fully agree with it, but like, they do if it's a big enemy and stuff, if it goes down too fast, they just let the party keep going. And don't count HP anymore. They just kind of let the battle go on a little bit longer to kind of make the stakes seem higher, and then let whoever got the kill get the kill still.
Yeah. I mean, there's DMs you can find like Matt Colville talking about it, and oh god, what's his name? One of the guys from the Dungeon Dudes had a conversation about it and stuff too, where like they don't even actually track HP at all. Like none of the monsters they do track HP. They give it basic stats and stuff, and then they just wait for a cool moment to kill the monster, right? Wait till some like cool ability or something like that. And that's how they track abilities used and stuff as well. Like there's tons and tons of different ways to play Dungeons & Dragons. Like, and it's not just Dungeons & Dragons. There are other systems and stuff as well. You've got stuff like Monster of the Week. You've got stuff like a lot more like Blades in the Dark, a lot more rules light systems where you don't have to track everything. You have 2 stats you have to track, and that's success and fail. Stuff like that. Like you can tell the same kind of stories and stuff as well. It just takes practice. You just got to get out there and actually do it, and then get better and better at it. And until you do that, though, you're not going to get better at it. So.
Yeah, and just remember also as a DM, the rules are nice and all, but they're a guide.
Yep.
They're a guide. Like at the end of the day, it's your game. If you want to add, like if you don't like one rule and you want to slightly change it, like for example, we do potions are a bonus action, or you can do them as a bonus action, but you have to roll for it. Or if you take your whole turn, kind of like think Dark Souls potions. Like if you actually manage to drink the whole thing before you get whacked or try to dodge or something, then you get the full benefit, kind of a thing. Like we add crazy stuff like that in there.
Yep.
Yeah, in my
But, like-
games, I pull mechanics from like other systems. I like them.
Just like doing the fucking ship combat rules from Pathfinder and throwing it in the middle of fucking Dungeons and Dragons because you need to have rules for a spaceship. I've done that before. Stuff like that. Like you mix and match, make your own stuff. Like the first time we ever played D&D, when I played with Courtney, I say we, but it's the first time I ever got Courtney into D&D, and I got my friends into Dungeons and Dragons and stuff as well. I didn't even use a system. I used a thing I created where it was like, here's 6 stats, do what you want, and I will figure stuff out. I was trying to get them more into like the role play aspect and stuff like that.
Like come up with your own abilities, and then we're gonna give you things called ability points that like are depend on how many times you can use them and shit. It was wild.
Yeah,
we had some crazy ass abilities, but it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It was like
I ate the sun.
She did. She ate.
That's my death certificate.
The
Estrella
whole
ate the
sun.
All right, that's spicy meatball.
Yeah, I had a whole thing where I was like, yeah, the sun is going to crash into the planet in like 3 turns. And she's like, okay, what I'm going to do...
I had this ability where I could use an AP point and I could shield a player from all damage, but I take it instead. There wasn't a limit to how many times you could put your AP points. Like, it wasn't like, okay, action, bonus action. It was how many points do you have, and that's it. So, like, I had enough to shield all of the party, and I took all the damage, but then they were able to stay up to actually fight the big bad at the end after the sun fucking came crashing down. So my character died in a molten fiery blaze, and then they got to fight the BBEG. And I just sat there like, this is cool.
Just to let you know, you don't need an official rule book. You can go look up the DC or the D&D basic rules, and that gives you a starting point.
Yeah, just Google Dungeons and Dragons SRD.
The basic stuff for free, doesn't it?
Yeah, the basic stuff is free.
Yeah, the SRD is free for everybody. You can find it. It doesn't have a ton of stuff in there. You will have to buy books for like extra stuff, but you can also just make extra stuff. That's the beauty of it. You can create whatever you want to within the system. So you just got to get familiar with some basics first, and the SRD is free for everybody.
And there's a couple of adventures that you don't need anything outside of just the basic rules.
Yep.
Which are free online. They have a lot of monsters in here. Holy crap.
Yeah, the SRD has a ton of stuff. It's a thing.
Swarm of quippers.
Yo, those little flying fish sons of bitches. Those little things are crazy. Look. We were playing a game that I based off of Legend of Dragoon at one point, and I had them fighting.
That one was fun.
Fighting the flying fish, and the fish almost won. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough there for a little bit. I mean, shit, Callus, I'll try. I don't give a shit as long as it's on a day I'm off anyway. But yeah, so. We've been, hanging out and chatting and talking for a while and stuff. So, I think we're going to go ahead and call bonus action here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, asking questions, giving us time to talk. We love this game, and we love, hanging out and chatting and playing and stuff. So, appreciate you guys for, giving us what we need to continue doing this stuff. We will see you all next week, Monday at 7 p.m. like always for episode 3, and we're gonna figure out exactly what it takes to kill a god, and we'll go from there. To my cast, remember next week one of you guys are gonna have to give a recap, so prepare for that.
I think you should have learned from this one that we should not do that.
Nope.
Just do your recap.
No, we're gonna give you guys.
All right.
You're gonna have
Mowgli,
to try.
you're the recap guy.
You have to put in some effort.
Voice.
No, please don't. Anybody but Mowgli.
Why? What's wrong with me?
Off the
I can do
rails.
the
I don't
nasty
know. You
voice.
saw how Everest went.
Thanks for gracing me with Australian man. No problem. Tomas will probably return. People seem to really like him. So.
Moss was great. Like, okay,
Aggie's
we
gonna
can't have a
find
pet
Tomas,
goblin.
like-
Can we adopt the gnome?
Yeah. Tomas the gnome. That's the party
Rayla didn't
mascot.
get to meet him, but I feel like she shares some of his ideals. She could probably blow his mind when she goes from 2 feet to like 8.
Yo, Tomas
You
would
can't-
actually lose his mind when that happens. I
You
have
can't
no
punch
doubt.
gonads at 8 feet.
Yep. You mean to tell me I could hit him in the face? Really? Yeah, he would love that. All right, but thank you guys. We'll see you all next time. Till then, take care, love each other. Show up next week. Bring some friends, tell some people. If you enjoy it and you think other people enjoy it and stuff, get them involved. And then we will see you guys next time. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye, everyone.